You're listening to The Pete Shepherd Show.
It's good to be back.
And a high fly ball to right field. Going back is Raleigh at the wall. He jumps, and it is gone! Two-run home run for Schwarber. 45 and counting for Kyle Schwarber.
Phillies roll again over Seattle, 11-2. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Pete Shepherd Show on the Coastal Sports Digital Network. How are you today on this Thursday, August 21st already, inching closer and closer to week 0 in college football. Great show lined up for you today. And thanks for checking us out across the Coastal Sports Digital Network video platform. Follow me on X on Twitter at PShep326. Across our Facebook pages on YouTube, Rumble, Kick, CSDN, FL, LinkedIn, and always call the show 727-858-6650. You text the show that way as well. And don't forget, right above me is the great app. If you can't watch the show, make sure you listen. SR1029 The Game, SR1029TheGame.com. We do not charge for anything. It's all free. Never will. So thanks, everybody, for checking out the show. Huge show coming up today. Lots of NFL and baseball news. Involves my Patriots and the Red Sox. Patriots closing out their season with the Giants. Not a huge deal. Just hoping everybody stays healthy. The Red Sox begin a gigantic 4-game series in the Bronx with the Yankees. So we will get to that as well. Lots of other NFL news to talk about. ESPN continues to embarrass themselves by talking about Micah Parsons' lead every single day. I don't care. We will hear from Brian Schottenheimer, who said all the right things, by the way. So we got baseball news, we got college football news. We're going to hear from Mario Cristobal, head coach of the Miami Hurricanes today as well. We'll also hear from Trevor Harris at 8:05 from WQAM, his weekly visit. Bill Speros, usually on a Wednesday, but he's on Thursday. He's actually up in Boston, from my understanding. He will join us, the great columnist from the Boston Herald, and senior betting analyst from bookies.com will join me at 8:30. At 9 o'clock, Steve DeOssie, my old partner, on the Real Post Game Show along with Fred Smirlis, but also worked with him on the Big Show. Steve DeOssie, the former NFL Super Bowl champion, linebacker, and long snapper. Great guy. He's going to join us because he was there. If you haven't been watching it, I hope you have, about America's team, the documentary on the early part of Jerry Jones' tenure with the Cowboys. It is absolutely fascinating. Steve was there. I mean, you got to understand, Steve went from Tom Landry to Jimmy Johnson, and then after he didn't really get along that first year, they traded him to the Giants, which ended up being a great thing, and he really came into his own as a linebacker, great linebacker, started a whole bunch of games, and was a Super Bowl champion in '91. You know, it's funny how we never talked, all those years that we worked together, we never really talked about the transition period, but we're going to if we did, I forgot about it because we were always talking about what happened in the Patriots game at the end or what was coming up that week. But we will talk to Steve coming up at 9 o'clock this morning and really get his perspective of what he went through that first year, the transition, from Jerry Jones taking over the team to the way the Tom Landry situation was handled. And Jimmy Johnson coming in and friction and all that stuff. Jimmy Johnson coming in from the U from Miami to take over the program. So we'll get into that as well. That's coming up at 9 a.m. But sad day for many of us. I'm going to lead the show with this. The Caprio family I have known since 1979. We moved from Warwick to Narragansett, Rhode Island. And David was one of my first friends. Frank also. Frank was a year older. But David, Frank, John, Paul, Marissa, Joyce Caprio, their mom, our condolences. Cannot say enough about the passing of Judge Frank Caprio, the Providence Municipal Court Judge Frank Caprio. Used to be an attorney, was a teacher when he first started out before getting into law and everything. Went to Suffolk Law School. A family that I've known since 1979. Family that's my parents were at their house. Judge and Joyce were at my house. David slept over at my house. I slept over their house. And you might remember when David called in when we were at the other network during Super Bowl week, and we had a nice conversation. Judge Caprio had been battling pancreatic cancer. At one point, thought he beat it, but unfortunately, it took a toll for the worst yesterday. And he posted a video. I don't want to show the part where he's lying in bed, but I do have on my Facebook page my classmate from Bishop Hendricken High School. I know Bishop Hendricken had put out a nice Facebook message also expressing their condolences. This man, Judge Caprio, is so beloved. I mean, they should build a statue. The show he had, Caught in Providence, how he got nominated so many times for Emmys, and his show was based on a national show. You can get it. You could get it on any cable system, and it was about him deciding on minor traffic violations. This was not sending people to that. I mean, like with minor traffic violations, but he was so humble and honest and genuine and kind, and it didn't matter for everybody that came in to his courtroom, and it was he was unbelievable. We're going to show a little snippet from a couple of cases just to show, in case you don't know, what kind of a man he was. Absolutely amazing, generous and kind, and anytime we were over at the house, whatever, or at if we were out, and he was involved in a couple of our Coast Guard house and Casey's and everything else, it was, always taking care of us. And David was a dear friend. Frank as well. Frank ran for treasurer, was a treasurer in Rhode Island, ran for governor, should have won, would have been the best governor, one of the best governors that state's ever had, but unfortunately that didn't happen. But he was a great treasurer in Rhode Island, the Sun, and he was a year older than myself. So, David is the one I knew the most, the friendliest with. We went to junior high together. We went to high school together. Frank as well. Frank, not Judge Frank, but Frank, David's brother. Great athlete at Hendricken and at Harvard as well. Actually got a hit off Al Nipper one time when the Harvard Crimson were playing the Red Sox in spring training. Had an RBI double, if I remember correctly. But we digress. This is about Providence Municipal Court Judge Frank Caprio passing at 88 years old. And I text David right away when I found out about it. He got back to me immediately with a short text saying, thank you for reaching out. And I know we have probably a lot of people in New England, in Rhode Island, and around the country. And I know he's worldwide. It's unbelievable. I've seen the videos in the past of him walking around, not just in Italy or Sicily and Europe. And people come up to him all the time. We're coming up to him all the time in the airports, asking him for autographs. He's out sightseeing places. People would come up to him. There is a charisma and magnetism about him that unlike any other. And man, did my parents enjoy their company. I mean, several Christmas parties. At one point, they were doing something, I remember back in the day, they were having some renovations done on the house. And this is when all the kids were growing up. I think I was right before I moved to Massachusetts, but maybe the year before. But they actually lived literally next door to my parents in the townhouses that we had in Narragansett across the street. So my mom broke her back when she was 18 years old. She wasn't paralyzed, but she had 6 back operations and a spinal fusion. She spent, even though we're in Rhode Island, she spent many nights at Brigham and Women's in Boston. My father would drive there every single day, basically, that she was in the hospital, at least visit for a couple of hours and then come back, make the 2-hour drive up and the 2-hour drive back, almost every single day. But there were times in my life where my mom literally couldn't get out of bed because she was in such pain. And Joyce would come over, Mrs. Caprio, the judge's wife, and I would come home. I was living at home getting ready to move out, but whatever job I was doing, I would come home. And once in a while, Joyce would just be like sprawled across the bed, just like they were in a dorm or something, just comforting my mom and just talking. And I said, "Hi, Mrs. Caprio, how you doing?" Blah blah blah. And that's just what it was. It was like no big deal, and it really meant a lot to my mom. And it meant a lot to my mom hosting a couple of Christmas parties where the judge, he wasn't a judge then, I don't think. He wasn't a judge then. He was still practicing very, high-profile attorney. Great, unbelievable. But it's, she loved hosting Christmas parties. My mom loved that, and they would be over for holiday parties. Caprio's always invited them over for holiday parties as well. So, I mean, we all grew up together. They lived a mile and a half from me down the road. They lived on Ocean Road. I lived on Boone Street, right across from the beach. But we all grew up together. We were all pretty tight, to be honest with you. We all looked out for each other, and it is a great family. So I just want to express my heartfelt condolences to the entire Caprio family. Again, David, Frank, John, Paulie, Marissa, and of course Joyce Caprio, his loving wife. And she was terrific. I still remember her driving us to Rocky Point, the big amusement park in Rhode Island, and man. You had me, David, and Paul and John in the car, and I don't know how you do it. I really don't. She put up with 4 boys, all different ages, but somewhat semi-close, and then her lovely daughter Marissa. But she was a saint. Let me tell you, she was a saint. But the judge was always so kind to all of us kids, and everything, and can't say enough about him. But here is David. Last night on Facebook, and I shared it on my Facebook page, but in case you didn't see it, this is my friend and classmate, 85 graduate from Bishop Hendricken High School, also a great attorney himself. Here's my friend David Caprio with a tribute to his dad last night.
With profound sadness that I share the news that my father, Judge Frank Caprio, passed away today, peacefully, surrounded by family and friends, after a long and courageous battle with pancreatic cancer. On behalf of my entire family, I want to thank each and every one of you for your prayers, your thoughts, and your unwavering support for him throughout his journey. Your love lifted him in ways that words cannot describe. My father was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer about 2 years ago, and he had great medical doctors to treat his physical illness. However, it was the love and the support that he received from all of you that lifted his spirits and boosted his soul to find the strength to fight on and outlive his diagnosis by 1.5 years. So, in his memory, please spread a little kindness today. I know he would love that. Dad, we love you. May you rest in peace. It is with.
That was a great job by David, and you have to forgive me if I get a little emotional about it, but I think David hit the nail on the proverbial head there, the word kindness. That is what the judge was all about. And it wasn't just a show for him caught in Providence. This is how he was in real life as well. And I'm going to show you just how genuine and kind he was during a couple of different scenarios. I could do the whole show on some of the stuff, and very much, he always made people try to feel comfortable, especially the younger people who came in. I'm just going to play, Angel, if we could, the clip off of my Twitter page. It's about a minute in, and you can hear, here's a couple of clips from Caught in Providence, the Emmy Award-winning show, which should have won 10 times, in my opinion. And here is a Providence Municipal Court Judge Frank Caprio at his best during the show Caught in Providence.
Hey, Jason.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
How are you, young man?
Good, Your Honor.
What is your name?
Giovanni?
Giovanni?
Yes.
Get up here, Giovanni. You want to help me out with this case?
Yes.
You promise to be honest?
Yes.
Who's this? This your dad?
Yes.
Okay. Now, you're not going to give your dad any favoritism, are you?
No.
Okay, so we're going to take a look at a video, and we're going to decide whether or not he went through a red light, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now, you're not going to look at him. You're going to look just at the video, and then you and I are going to make a decision, okay?
Okay.
All right, let's go. Okay, here's your dad, and the light was red. Did you see that?
Yes.
And did you see the sign?
Yes.
What does the sign say? Can you read it? Right on red.
Right on red.
After after stop?
After stop.
So that means if the light is red, you must first stop and then make a right-hand turn, okay?
Yes.
So we're going to look at it again, and we're going to see if he stopped before he made a right-hand turn. All right, here he comes now. Did he stop?
Yes, Your Honor.
He stopped? We're going to do this again. We're going to look at it and to see if he stopped or not, okay?
Okay.
All right, let's go.
No.
He didn't stop.
No.
Is he guilty?
No.
No. If he did not stop, right, then you still think he's not guilty?
No.
Is he guilty or not guilty?
No. He's not guilty.
He's not guilty.
No.
No. He's just deflating me. He's beating me down here. I'm like a puddle of water on the bench here, right? Okay, I know. I'm not sure you really understand the question as I'm asking it, but you watched the video and the light was red and your dad made a right-hand turn, right?
Yes.
Okay. So should we fine him the $85 or not?
No.
Why not?
Because he's not guilty.
Well, we're going to look at it once more. Okay?
Okay.
All right, now let's go. The light is red. Do you see that?
Yes.
Did he stop?
No.
Was he supposed to stop?
Yes.
And he did not stop.
No.
Okay. Is he guilty or not guilty?
Not guilty.
Get down there with your dad. Inspector Carrigan, you want that guy in your corner.
Absolutely.
Right? Well, first of all, let me tell you, he makes a great impression. He's very polite, right?
He is.
He's very articulate,
Yeah, he's a very good little boy, Your Honor.
and he loves his father.
He does.
He loves his daddy. No one's going to do anything wrong to his father, right? Oh, God. Well, I asked him, so I'm going to charge you $35 court course.
Thank you so much, Your Honor.
You just saved your father $50. Make sure he takes you out to dinner, okay?
Okay.
All right, good luck.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Bye, Your Honor.
You guys have been married 44 years. Yes, sir. I don't meet many people that have been married 44 years.
Okay.
But what's the secret to a long marriage? I'll ask Gwen, what's the secret to a long marriage?
He's always agreeing on what I do.
He agrees.
Or what I say. Whatever I say, he says, okay, baby.
He says, okay, baby.
Yes, okay, baby.
He still called you baby.
Yeah, okay, baby, that's it.
Hey. What's the secret to a long marriage?
She just told you.
Whatever I do, he say, okay, baby. Whatever I say, he say, okay, baby. And we all set.
Yes, dear. Yeah. But you say baby. Okay, baby. All right, well, you have two others that are over 31. I'm going to charge you on one, so it's going to cost you a total of $50.
Okay.
Now, can you afford to pay that today?
No, I can't, sir.
Yes, I will pay that, Your Honor.
Well,
Okay, baby. Yes, sir. Okay.
Listen, if I'm trying to determine whether or not it's a stress for you to pay it. If it's going to leave you broke for the day, I want to know that because that's important to me.
Today, everything is, Your Honor. But you have to try. You have to do what you have to do.
All right, that's just a small sample, and there are many others samples on YouTube, and I'm sure that if people who watch the show or have it on demand, that is just a small sample of what Judge Frank Caprio was all about. Just absolute kindness, humble, courteous, considerate. No, there aren't enough positive adjectives that I can throw at that man, and I know he affected and influenced so many people, not just his wonderful family, but surrounding friends of all the kids and just citizens, not just in Rhode Island, but around the country and around the world. The man was very, very popular, and you can see why. So I thought it was fitting to start the show today. And those are my friends who are from Narragansett, Providence, Warwick, no matter where you are in the wonderful state of Rhode Island. a sad day, but so many happy memories for Judge Frank Caprio, who passed away at 88 after an incredible battle with pancreatic cancer. And, as David said so eloquently, most people, when you get pancreatic cancer, it's like flick the lights and you're done. He lasted a year and a half. And man, some of the videos that were shown um, in the year, it was unbelievable. His physical strength and mental strength, obviously, but his physical strength and working out and walking and unbelievable stuff. So um, he will be sorely missed. He will be sorely missed. And I just thought that it was fitting to lead the show with that today. Way more important than Red Sox Yankees and way more important than Patriots Giants and the NFL and everything, which we're gonna get to today. And we're gonna have a wonderful show. We're gonna have a lot of sports and a lot of entertaining videos today, including one lady who melted down in Orlando at the airport. Where the hell was security? But Judge would have loved that. Judge Caprio would have loved. I don't know what he would have done, but she would be going to jail anyway. But you saw how kind and humble that he was and courteous. So that's all I have to say for now. Condolences to the entire Caprio family, my friends David and Frank and John, Paul, Marissa. Condolences, and Joyce, obviously. Condolences to all of you. So that's it, Angel, and somebody that I'll never forget.
Yeah, it's oh boy, that it is tough, and I know you knew him, and it was kind of a surprise to me when I was coming across Facebook that I saw it this morning. Then I sent it to you because I know you. I don't scroll through Facebook as much, but I know you saw it.
Yeah, I saw the video after the show yesterday where he was lying in the hospital bed, and I said, "Oh boy, this is." Hoping and praying and, sent a nice message again. But I said to myself, I was like, this might be it. And then, David, I actually found out on social media. I just happened to be scrolling through and I reached out to text David immediately. He got right back to me. And then he put out that wonderful, eloquent message on Facebook about his dad. So, yeah, tough day for everybody who knew the judge, but he is just an incredible human being. He did so much good. Again, the word kindness is just can't say it enough. So, anywho, but thanks, Angel, for your kind words as well. So, we just remember all the happy times with him. All right. Okay, let's get into it again. Big show coming up today. Trevor Harris at 8:05 a.m. From WQAM. Got some Mario Cristobal sound from yesterday as well, talking about Carson Beck and some other stuff. Bill Speros, 8:30 at from bookies.com, the senior betting analyst and columnist from the Boston Herald. And then Steve DeOssie, former NFL and Super Bowl champion linebacker, won the Super Bowl with the Giants back in the day in 91. Played for Dallas, drafted by the Cowboys, played for the Patriots, the Jets, the Giants, obviously, and was a fourth-round pick out of Boston College. Great player. So we will talk to him about his experience. We'll talk to him about football in today's game and all the drama that's going on in some of these camps and what he thinks about it, not just the Patriots, but as an ex-NFL player, how he feels about the Micah Parsons situation and how Aaron Rodgers is going to do in Pittsburgh, that kind of thing. But I want to get his perspective because he was there when Jerry Jones took over the Cowboys and fired Tom Landry and that whole transition with Jimmy Johnson, and what a freaking mess it was initially. It's as much of a mess now, maybe not quite as bad as it was then, but Jerry still thinks he's living during this documentary time, and he's a fascinating man. There's no question about that. To go to see what he went through, some certain areas of some of the risks that he took, but in the end, he just can't get over himself, and that's why Jimmy Johnson wasn't there. I've seen the first 4 episodes now, and it's absolutely fantastic. So I don't want to ruin it for everybody. All I'm saying is, if you're a football fan and whether you like Dallas or not, you should watch it. It's fascinating. The shows fly by, and they have great interviews with some past players and past broadcasters and everything else, and it's really neat to hear their perspective then and now. The Charles Haley stuff is off the chart. Unbelievable. And Jimmy Johnson is fantastic in it. So is Troy Aikman, Al Michaels, a few other people. So anyway, it's good stuff. Angel, I'm going to ask you, how are you doing this morning up there in Tampa?
Good. Different way to start the show, but I understand why too. But good. We had 0 storms apparently yesterday, so we're supposed to get a good round of them between today and over the weekend. But overall, pretty good. Just trying to keep up with a lot of stuff and, not trying to drive yourself crazy at the same time. But yesterday, I had gotten so burned out after the show and running around doing a bunch of stuff that my eyes were bloodshot red by 7:30 last night. And I probably could have slept from 7:45 to about 7:45 this morning. But nonetheless.
Well, the good news is your Phillies played early and walloped Seattle. So that you didn't have to stay up late to watch that.
Nope, sure didn't. But it's gonna be good to hear the perspective from
Steve DeOssie. Yeah.
Yep, it's gonna be really good to hear about that. But my thing is with ESPN, I think what drives me more nuts, it's either the focus always on LeBron Lakers, and now it's like, Micah Parsons every single.
It's just it's a laziness, and some of the hosts have actually admitted, like, it's just laziness. There's only so much you can say. And let me play this cut right now, and I'm going to play some video, and we'll do baseball a little bit later on. By Shohei Ohtani got lit up last night, then did he get hit by a line drive or something like that too? The Yankees beat Tampa Bay in 6-4. They hit a bunch of more home runs in that game. We got highlights of the Little League World Series, an incredible comeback by South Carolina in the bottom of the 6th over South Dakota. Wait, I got the whole video for that. Wait, you see that sequence. Really cool. Connecticut won yesterday. They look fantastic, and they're in the American Championship game coming up, and they will be going up against the South Dakota. And who did Connecticut beat yesterday? I forget. But whoever wins that game today will play Connecticut for the American Championship. And then on they go. And my boys from Aruba, really rooting hard for them. A country that's not really heavily populated, but they're this close. I would love to see a Connecticut-Aruba Little League Championship. That would be a lot of fun, but we'll see. So we'll have some video of that as well. Let me get to some NFL. Let me get to Coach Schottenheimer, since we're talking about Micah Parsons. He finally spoke about it yesterday, and he still feels confident that he will be he'll be playing Week 1 against Philadelphia. I am not.
No, because I think at the end of the day, we feel like Mike is going to be out there when we can line up against Philadelphia here in 15 days or whatever it is, and so no. The answer is, I feel good about that. Yeah.
Without a contract extension?
I feel good that Mike is going to be out there against the Philadelphia Eagles.
Mm-hmm. I do not. I do not. And the other thing you have to worry about Micah Parsons, and I would say this about anybody, but particularly a superstar like that, Angel, you're talking about, even if he does sign, say, in the next week or so, what kind of football shape is he in? Besides, doing some walkthrough stuff, he's not in any kind of NFL shape. He hasn't gone up against top-notch competition. As good as he is, it still takes a while to get back in the game. So that's another issue, that if he does indeed sign over the next 15 days, and I still think it's a long shot, I really do. But if he does, what kind of shape is he going to be in, Angel, when he takes on your world champion Eagles in 2 weeks from tonight? 2 weeks from tonight.
Unless he's been working out privately on his own, I think, again.
No, I'm not talking about lifting weights and all that. I'm talking about going up and against competition, like in these joint practice sessions and all that. You can lift all the weights you want and run and jog and do cone drills, and you can do all that stuff. But you're not going up against elite competition as a linebacker. You're not getting hit on the line in pads and practice and going through. So I do think that will take a little while to get. I would say that for any player to get going.
Yeah, no, I think so too. I knew where we were going with it. I was partially going to add, the whole thing with the workout as well, because it's different. Live drills, it's a whole different thing. When you can punch a dummy bag all you want to, the dummy bag's not going to punch you back.
Hey, I'm working on it.
But
Christ Almighty, we're friends.
It's going to be it's going to be tough for him.
Big dummy. You're actually blushing. I can see it from here.
It's definitely going to be tough for him to be able to come back and get into game shape for sure. So we'll see. I just think Yeah, who knows? Maybe he's going to keep talking about that, his back's not good, or I don't know. I just think it's to start off a mess already with the Cowboys on top of the mess they already had with Dak Prescott last year. It's just, I just don't see the Dallas Cowboys even making the playoffs this season.
Well, it's going to be, like I said, it's going to be really interesting. I think it's going to go to shit, but we'll see. They certainly have on paper, as usual, a talented roster on paper, but that doesn't necessarily translate. You got an owner who can't get out of his own way. That's the biggest issue, and it's huge. If we could scroll down, Angel, right under the show, Pat McAfee yesterday, my man Damian Woody, really good analyst, and he's bullish on the Patriots right under the show.
Yep.
He's bullish on the Patriots as they take on the Giants tonight on the road to close out the preseason. Hopefully nobody gets hurt.
Vrabel's back, too. You played with him. Your thoughts on the Patriots now that Mike Vrabel's the head coach?
I've been saying I'm bullish on the Patriots. I'm bullish. Listen, we all know it's been a disaster in New England for the past couple of years, for a variety of reasons, whether it's personnel, coaching, all of the above. But now you got Mike Vrabel in the building, and everyone knows Mike Vrabel is one of the better head coaches that we have in the game. You've added a ton of players, whether it be free agency or via the draft, to really improve this roster. I could make the argument that the biggest acquisition was getting Josh McDaniels back as the offensive coordinator. I think he's going to do wonders for Drake May in his second year at the quarterback position. And so I think New England's going to have a damn good defense. And I think Josh McDaniels is going to coordinate an offense that's going to complement that defense. Don't be surprised you see the Patriots in the playoffs this year.
Let's go. Hell yeah, D-Wood.
I totally agree. Totally agree. Now they got look. There's some things they got to clean up, and it's like everybody else. I mean, I wonder because we talked to Bill Bird earlier this week, and some other people, John Meterperel, and and that's why fans are fans. I get it, but they go so over the top sometimes when things aren't perfect. For you Patriot fans out there that have become disgruntled because of a couple of overthrows from Drake May, go watch the Buffalo Bills the other night when they lost 38-0. Tell me how you feel about that. How do you think Bills fans are feeling? Probably not panicking as much as some of the Patriot fans are, or overreacting. I know that's what fans do. I get it. But geez Louise. I mean, come on. Let's the overreaction from a couple of overthrows. They got to clean some stuff up. There's no question about it. But that schedule, and they got a pretty decent test early on with the Raiders in Foxborough in that first game. But it's a fairly easy schedule. If they just play sound fundamental football, they should get at least to 8 wins, and I think 9 will get them into the postseason. But they should be at least an 8-win team. I'm saying 9. There are others that are saying 10. I've heard a couple people say 11. I'm not anywhere near that, but I'm saying between, somewhere 8-9 wins, they absolutely should. Meanwhile, the Jacksonville Jaguars are getting ready to take on the Miami Dolphins. And Miami just signed Matthew Judon yesterday as well. We got some sound from him coming up a little bit later on. Angel, right under Damian Woody, could we show Trevor Lawrence on NFL Network? They did a nice job with this little feature on Trevor Lawrence and head coach Liam Cohen. They are working together pretty well initially anyway, and Trevor's reads, at least under Liam Cohen, seem to be much smoother than they have in the past.
Yeah, you're already seeing some changes the Jaguars are doing with Trevor Lawrence in his first 2 preseason games. They've been working with him on his footwork and how he's going through his progressions. And Liam Cohen said he's been pleased with Trevor Lawrence's process. As you've watched the first 2 games, Trevor's getting through his second and third reads more efficiently, quicker processing, using his legs a little bit more, and getting rid of that ball when he needs to. That's something they've really worked on. He's not retreating in the pocket. He's stepping up in the pocket. And Trevor Lawrence admittedly said recently, hey, look, this is year 5. I'm entering my prime. I've got to turn it up. He got that big $55 million a year contract last year. He knows the pressure's on him. And the Jaguars believe this new scheme with Liam Cohen, which they had wonders with in Tampa with Baker Mayfield, will do wonders for Trevor Lawrence as well. They wanted him to trust his teammates. Don't be Superman and have all the turnovers you did last year. Be a guy that can trust Brian Thomas Jr. You can trust Travis Hunter. You can trust Travis Etienne, who's going to be a big factor in the passing game. And early signs are that transition's going well, and they're ready to go week 1.
Yep. And again, big focus will be on, obviously, Trevor Lawrence and Travis Hunter. How much defense will he play? How much offense will he play? But we'll see. Coming up, they play Miami coming up on Saturday night, I think.
I think
Saturday night. So that game's on here locally in Southwest Florida, obviously, and probably all over Florida, because why wouldn't it be? With the two Florida teams playing. We'll get to some Dolphin clips as well, some Miami Hurricane clips, and more NFL news. Also, as I said, top of the hour, Trevor Harris will join us from WQAM, Bill Speros from the Boston Herald and Bookies.com at 8:30. And then Steve DeOssie, long snapper and linebacker, great linebacker for the New York Giants, Dallas Cowboys, Patriots, and Jets. And he will join, a Super Bowl champion from 91, by the way, will join us as well at 9 o'clock to get his perspective, not only on the documentary America's Team, but the NFL in general. Steve is fantastic. Worked with him for over a decade back at WEEI, part of the Real Postgame Show with myself, him, and Freddie Smirlis, another great all-pro defensive tackle. And he should be in the Hall of Fame, too. All right, when we come back, more football news, college football news, and MLB rundown as well, all part of the Pete Shepard Show here on a magnificent Thursday on the Coastal Sports Digital Network.
Hi, folks. This is Gerard Moynihan of Moynihan Lumber, and I would like you to know that our company has been selling Anderson windows for over 60 years. See the complete line of Anderson windows at any of our 3 locations in North Reading, Beverly, or in Plastow, New Hampshire, or at MoynihanLumber.com.
Hey everybody, it's Pete Shepard from the Coastal Sports Network. Want to tell you about my good friend Lou DiMuzio and his company. Lou is the president and founder of Ace Technology Advisors. They're big-time tech specialists. At ATA, they're able to craft, implement, and manage the best and most appropriate solution for your business. They leverage their industry-leading experience and their portfolio of technology partners to improve your best practices and infrastructure. So you can get a hold of them at 888-599-4223. That's 888-599-4223. Check them out on their webpage, www.acetechadvisors.com. That's www.acetechadvisors.com. Or you can email them, sales@acetechadvisors.com. Check out my friend Lou DiMuzio and Ace Technology Advisors.
Right now, our country feels divided, but there's a place where people are coming together.
I gotta tell you, I was nervous to talk to someone so different than me.
Me too, but I'm glad we are.
Love Has No Labels and One Small Step are helping people with different political views, beliefs, and life experiences come together through conversation, and it feels good.
Wow, your story is so...
Interesting?
Yeah.
When people actually sit down, talk, and listen to one another, they can break down boundaries and connect as human beings. At lovehasnolabels.com/onesmallstep, you can listen to amazing, life-changing conversations and find simple tools to start a conversation of your own.
I know one thing. This conversation gives me hope.
It gives me a lot of hope, too.
Take a step toward bringing our country and your community together by having the courage to start a conversation at lovehasnolabels.com/onesmallstep. A message from StoryCorps, Love Has No Labels, and the Ad Council.
People do some pretty cool things in their 40s and 50s. Why should saving for retirement be any different? I mean, they go back to college, learn new instruments, start skateboarding. Whoa! Okay, maybe that one's not for everybody, but saving for retirement is. With aceyourretirement.org, you can get on track with your retirement savings no matter your age. Just have a 3-minute chat with Avo, the friendly digital retirement coach from AARP. You'll get personalized recommendations based on your input that are easy to understand and work with your lifestyle. It's quick, easy, and free. Plus, it's sponsored by AARP, so you know they got your back.
Woohoo! Gnarly move, Dad.
Thanks, sweetie.
So wherever you are in your retirement savings journey, head to aceyourretirement.org and start chatting with Avo today. That's aceyourretirement.org. A message from AARP and the Ad Council.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting. A teenager. Learning the lingo.
Today I'm going to help parents translate teen slang. Now, when a teen says something is on fleek, it's exactly like saying, that's rad. It simply means that something is awesome or cool. Another one is totes. It's exactly like saying, totally, just shorter. As in, I totes love going to the mall with Becca. Another word you might hear is jelly. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will think you're, rad just the same. To learn more, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
This is the story of a very special woman. In a matter of seconds, she turned herself into a great mathematician or an entrepreneur. Her knowledge was limitless and still is. She could also make monsters disappear, especially those that lurked in the shadows under the bed. Once, this woman put back together a teenage girl's broken heart, which had been shattered in 1,000 pieces, just by giving her a bear hug. She masqueraded as a regular person at work, but as a superhero at home. Everyone knows her as Gabriella. I still call her Mom.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need to help, complete with tips and resources at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Don't spaz out because your team lost. Let Pete do it for you. Now, back to the Pete Shepherd Show.
No, because I think at the end of the day, we feel like Mike is going to be out there when we can line up against Philadelphia here in 15 days or whatever it is. And, so no, the answer is, I feel good about that, yeah.
What's the without contract extension?
I feel good that Mike is going to be out there against the Philadelphia Eagles.
I do not feel good that Mike is going to be out there. Sorry, I do not. Welcome back to the Pete Shepherd Show here on a Thursday, August 21st. But Brian Schottenheimer is saying all the right things. I think he's handled it the right way for the situation that his dumbass owner has put him in. But Micah Parsons being part of the Cowboys, I think is, I say less than 50-50. And even if he is, the back thing is real. And even if he embellishes, if he doesn't get a contract, he is going to embellish. And it's going to be, ooh, my back, I can't play. And nobody's going to blame him. Everybody seems to be on his side. And I still don't understand what is going on through Jerry Jones's head. But that's just, maybe that's just me. No, I think it's not just me. I think it's about a million me's, a million people who think like me, which is scary. But if you're a Cowboys fan, you got to be extremely frustrated just because of the distractions. Meanwhile, all right, let's get to some more NFL sound. We'll get from Matthew Jujon in just a second here. How about this yesterday? Angel from, by the way, before I do that, let me just say this. Phil Castanetti, Sports World in Saugus, Massachusetts is New England's place to buy or sell the finest in sports memorabilia. For over 35 years, Sports World has offered the finest in sports collectibles. So head on down there, the 184 Broadway in Saugus. Call 781-233-7222 for more information. 781-233-7222 for more information. Sports World in Saugus. Be there. Also, for the best articles in audio, there's only one source that provides everything you need 365 days a year to satisfy your sports crave. It's Total Sports Prep. The staff combs through the best articles in audio so you don't have to. The sports and non-sports kicker stories will leave you laughing all day long. To get your free trial of Total Sports Prep, contact them. info@sportsbroadcastingcoach.com. That's info@sportsbroadcastingcoach.com. Total Sports Prep, the name says it all. I got my unique filing system here.
Of course you do. Good morning, Joshua.
Josh, good morning. How are you? Wherever you may be. Where are you, Joshua? Tell us where you are. When people chime in and text, let us know where you're calling from around the country and around the world. We are now heard in a bunch of areas in Spain. We are heard in Sweden. We had friends from Stockholm check in. 55 countries now? All 50 states have heard from. We've heard from on this show, but like 55 countries as well. Italy, hello. France, hello. Kazakhstan, hello.
Yeah, of all places, Kazakhstan. But hey, listen, I'm fine with that because it just means that more people are sharing and listening in. So we do appreciate it as always.
And of course, thanks to all our military people around the world on Armed Forces
Network
that listen to us. Yes, absolutely. You will listen, or Angel will come find you.
Will.
All right, let's get back to some of this stuff. Yeah, so if you text in or call in, just let us know what city. You don't have to give us, your firstborn or anything. We just love to know what city and state or country that you guys are listening in. All right, here's a Cleveland reporter asking Myles Garrett what it feels like to drive over 100 miles per hour.
What is it like to be in that car and seeing that speedometer creep up toward 100, like 1 mile per hour?
I'd honestly rather talk about football on this team than anything I'm doing off field, other than the back to school, event that I did the other day.
But still, I mean, people want to know about that.
People want to know a lot of things.
True.
I'll give him having a boss for trying. He's not gonna address that. But I get it. It's not just one time either. How many multiple violations does he have? Going excess of 100 miles an hour, just ridiculous. Juju Smith-Schuster, who was just freaking absolutely useless with the Patriots on the whole, is now back with the Kansas City Chiefs, and he's happy about that.
Things happen for a reason, and I am happy to be back here playing with the guys here, and it feels great. It feels like home. Miss the barbecue and everything else that comes with it. But I will say this offseason, I took a lot of focus on myself and my shape and my health. Being able to come out here and, like you said, the older you get, it's you got to compete with these young guys. So it's nice that the motivation is still here and the fire in my heart. So yeah, KC's fun. I enjoy it here, not just the teams, but the fans and the people.
Great, wonderful. Probably have 100 catches for 1,100 yards or so, but he was useless on the whole with the Patriots. Head to Minnesota, quarterback J.J. McCarthy on what makes all-pro wide receiver Justin Jefferson such a delight.
It's a quarterback's dream to have a receiver like that, and we got a lot of great guys in the room too, but Justin's one of one. And just what makes him so great? I would say his desire to work, his desire to be out there. He doesn't have a cool guy kind of personality. He's just one of the boys. And, just obviously the way he moves is extremely freaky. Just how he cuts in and out of routes. He has to take 2 less steps than the rest of the guys because he gets there faster and has longer strides. His body control on the sideline and in the air, it's just things you really don't see. And he kind of has all those attributes all into one. And, he's what I think makes him great is just his mentality and his dog-like mentality to show up every day, be the best in the world, and his confidence is through the roof, and, rightfully so.
Going to be really interesting how J.J. McCarthy, basically his rookie year, and what he's going to do with that team. High expectations, very well-coached team with Mr. O'Connell and Brian Flores and company. But still, J.J. McCarthy, no one, until we see it, I don't know what he's all about. I've heard nothing but good things on the whole, but let's see what happens in real time here. Meanwhile, we head to Jets camp. Aaron Glenn, head coach on Justin Fields. This is from Sirius XM NFL Radio.
Let's talk a little bit about Justin Fields. Yeah. What I want to start with is...
Oops, was that me? That was my fault. What did I do? Hold, please.
Let's talk a little bit about Justin Fields. Yeah. What I want to start with is, what have you learned about him that you didn't know about him? Because it reveals itself here.
Yeah. He is as steady as they come. He's never too high. He's never too low. He has this quiet confidence about himself that some people think of him as being just not a fiery. But the thing is, his confidence and his ability to lead, just by the way that he operates, to me is just it's unparalleled to some guys I've seen, and I love that about him because he gets probably criticized more than anybody, but you know what? He's always steady.
I don't know about that.
And he understands it. He understands the seat he's in.
I looked up at his number. His numbers has improved every year. He has gotten better as a player.
Yeah, yes, he has. And listen, I understand that everybody has all these expectations. Everybody has all this criticism about him. But I'll tell you what, this man is going to work his butt off to be a damn good player in this league. And I can promise you that. Yeah. And you haven't seen the last of him. I just know that. So just keep watching him.
The Steelers are still going to regret trading him. It's just dumb.
Yep.
It really was. Because I think Aaron Rodgers is going to be a flop. I do. It's going to be interesting. It's the only time I can't believe that I have to do this, that I'm actually going to root for the Jets to beat the Steelers opening day. Rodgers versus Justin Fields. I hope Justin lights them up. I do.
That'd be terrific.
That'll be something. Speaking of the Steelers, head coach Mike Tomlin talking on Sirius XM NFL Radio about training camp and why T.J. Watt and Cam Hayward are important to the organization.
They're your hardest workers. They lead by example. They're kind of everything you want to be. And for the rest, whether it's a young draft pick or even veterans like Jalen Ramsey coming here to see these shining examples of what it means to be a Steeler.
They are worth their weight in gold. I just think you really got a chance to have a healthy culture, man, when your leaders are drafted guys. Both guys have grown up here and have learned from those that have come before them. You're talking about two guys that played with some guys that played a generation ago. TJ had an opportunity to play with James Harrison as a young guy. Cam played with Casey Hampton as a young guy. And so those experiences and those guys' perspective, man, shaped them. And so, man, it's just cool to watch them share with others. I tell you one thing specifically about those two that's been great here is they recognize that they got some new leadership partners that are not new to the NFL but are new to us. And I just appreciate the time that they're spending with Aaron Rodgers and DK and Jalen Ramsey and guys like that, guys that they know are going to be in the inner circle, if you will, from a leadership perspective, but need to learn what being a Pittsburgh Steelers is about.
Yeah. When's the last time you won a playoff game? Yeah. Okay. All right. I forget. I know I'm getting old. 58 years old. Fucking memory lapse. It's been a long time. Long time. Mike Tomlin. You be on the hot seat, by the way, too. Meanwhile, my man from the U, Cam Ward, now QB1 for the Tennessee Titans. A couple of cuts from him. Here's one on being conservative versus aggressive on early downs.
Mentally, yeah, I get better at that, but I don't ball. So if I see somebody open with a deep intermediate, I'm throwing it. Coach Callahan knows it, but I think the big thing with Coach, he's getting me better at, playing more situational football. I've gotten better at throughout training camp, practice even here today. But he knows my mindset. He knows I'm a gunslinger. If I get the opportunity, I'm taking a shot. But I would say they really get me better at playing situational football.
All right, Cam Ward there. Now, here's Cam on building the connection with other receivers when Calvin Ridley isn't out there. This is from the A to Z Sports Network in Nashville. More on Nashville in a second.
First part again?
With Calvin not practicing the last 2 days, does that give you a chance to maybe get some extra looks at some of the other guys?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I think it's more reps I get with those guys. Van, Chimp, Elliott, Dan Rice as well. So I just think all of us, the Red being out right now, just helping, us get a deeper relationship, just timing-wise on routes that I probably haven't thrown them this whole training camp. So it's been good for us to get to work together, but I'm excited to get Red back out there as well.
All right, I know a lot of you fantasy people are having their drafts and have had them already, and probably sometimes they wait till after the fourth preseason game just to make sure this person or that person doesn't get hurt. But I'm telling you right now, they have the stack thing, and stack Cam Ward and stack Calvin Ridley. If you're playing FanDuel or DraftKings, you want to stack those two at times this year. That is going to be, again, if everybody stays reasonably healthy, that is going to be a big-time connection because there's a symmetry there already with those two. And I think Cam is going to be doing some very, very good things for the Titans, and Calvin Ridley is going to be a gigantic part of it. Angel, if we could scroll down, it's right under, you're going to have to refresh. It's right under the show. For Carlos A. Lopez, and he's got the Let's Talk Patriots, a podcast going. And he talks with Julian Edelman on wide receiver Efton Chisholm, who's being compared to Edelman and Welker and others. And there's no question that this kid from Eastern Washington is going to make the team. But here is Julian Edelman's assessment of Monsieur Efton Chisholm III.
I think he reminds me more of Dola than he does me.
I'm with you.
He's the way he runs is a little like that. His playing strength is really impressive that I've seen over the last few weeks. He's had a hell of a camp. It's going to be an interesting decision on what to do with these guys in that specific receiver room. I think he reminds me more of Dolan than he does.
Well, I think the guy, the name anyway, if you want to say name, I think is Kendrick Bourne is the one that's going to be out. I think he's going to get cut. Polk, they're talking about possibly trading him as well, but there is no doubt that Chisholm is going to make that team. Angel, if we could scroll down a little bit more, how about this? Rob Gronkowski in the news tweeted this out yesterday, and he's officially opened the Gronk Playground to give back to the city of Boston. This is really cool, and Gronk gets a little choked up here.
I thought of the idea to give back to Boston. Susan, you still have me moved. Oh. I thought of the idea to give back to Boston. Oh, hold up, I'm sorry. Oh. Wow. I thought of the idea to give back to the Boston area for all the love and support the city of New England fans have shown me throughout my career. And it was since day one. Even if I was acting like an idiot, they loved it. You guys loved it, so thank you so much. It helped me perform tremendously. And the day is here, and it's a day to celebrate. We just officially opened up the Gronk Playground here, right on the Charles River, right on the Esplanade property, on Storrow Drive, right in the middle of the city of Boston. It couldn't be a better location. I just want to thank everyone that was a part of it. You guys ready? Gronk Playground, touchdown spike! It's the floor. What the? Boom! Doesn't bounce that good on the floor.
Thanks to Channel 5, WCVB Boston for that. Now, a couple of things, Angel Martinez. One is, how many kids are going to be lined up to go down the same slide? Say, hey, I went down the same slide Gronk did. Two, I don't know how he went down the slide and it didn't break because he's such a Sasquatch. Two, and the only knowing that area fairly well, where are people going to park? That's what I'm worried about. You know, I know there's a few. I'm trying to think, is there a lot over there that you can park around the Charles River? It's on Storrow Drive. Not the easiest place to get in and out. A lot of times all you hear about Storrow Drive is because the idiot truck drivers that don't obey the sign that this is 10 feet and they have a 14-foot thing, and boom, and traffic gets backed up for, a year and a half. But yeah, that's a great thing by Gronk, though, huh? I never saw Gronk cry and cover. I never saw Gronk cry after Super Bowl wins. Let alone, so this is really special. That's a cool thing.
I saw this morning on the news, and I was like, wow, that's pretty. I mean, first of all, it's the only guy in the NFL that has yet to spend his NFL checks. They're all still sitting in the bank because he's lived off his sponsors and the investments he's made.
Smart, absolutely.
Extremely smart. And then the one thing I'm waiting for is Nikki Glaser, because she's going to come out and say, oh, Gronk go down slide. Gronk cries. Like, I can't wait for that one. But, I mean, this is a guy who continues to give and give and give. Yeah. So, we all know that Gronk may not be the most eloquent of speakers, but the man continues to give, and he's really appreciative. Anybody, he's really embraced the Boston area, especially New England. But
yeah, they love him in Tampa too. When he came down here, and he caught 2 touchdowns in the Super Bowl from Brady, the first 2, I believe, in that route of Kansas City, not too long ago. But Gronk, great stuff. But that's as emotional for his tearing up that I can never remember, because I don't even remember him crying after Super Bowls. Anyway,
I don't remember it. Even after the extended coverage on the NFL Network, I never remember seeing him cry afterwards.
So you got really choked up. Okay, Matthew Judon, former Patriot, former Raven, he signed on yesterday with the Miami Dolphins and had this to say.
It's so good.
It's coming.
It felt good just to have cleats and a jersey back on. So I was happy about that. So that was the most impressive stuff. And just shout out to the organization, whole Miami Dolphins culture, everybody here. They made it easy. It was more welcoming than anything. And so, just from going out to practice for the first time in a very long time, they made it easy for me. and comfortable, especially Coach Crow.
Matthew. And I love him. That is a great player. But you go from John Harbaugh to Bill Belichick to this. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know about the culture. Here's more from Matthew Judon.
I mean, I'm a student of the game, so that's more off the field stuff. I ain't know, but on the field, you see the work that they put in, and you understand what it takes to be that good, to be that dominant. And so both of them are good in a run. Both of them cause havoc. Both of them can get to the quarterback at a high rate. And so, right now, I'm just getting to see their work ethic that nobody get to see. And besides, kind of y'all and the coaches at practice. So that's
all right. Let's see more from Matthew Judon, courtesy of WQAM.
It's been all right. I got a little bit of views, but mostly it's about the work. It ain't about kind of coming down here and enjoying myself and relaxing. I had enough time while everybody was at camp to relax and view. So. It's about the work I put in and coming in here and hurrying up and getting acclimated with the system, learning kind of the locker room traditions and the culture that they building around here, and kind of just figuring out where I'm gonna be, how I'm gonna be, and how I'm gonna play.
The savvy veteran, he knows he's playing the game, and hopefully he'll stay with the team. And I don't know in that culture, but I'm not doing no 2 days. I'm not going to sweat my ass off, especially in South Florida during training camp. I'll just come in and, sign here at the end. Last one, what made him choose or want to go to the Miami Dolphins?
It's just a good opportunity, a good situation. Even though they got a lot of edge rushers. They got really good edge rushers, though. We just saw a fit, and Coach Mike, Chris, and so everybody, it just worked out.
All right, it just worked out, no question about it. So there you have Matthew Judon right there from the Miami Dolphins, and he talks about, like I said, going from Harbaugh to Belichick to that situation to Charlie Brown. I don't know if that's going to be necessarily a good fit. Meanwhile, as that time of the day of the week, we welcome in Trevor Harris from WQAM in Miami, and sent over a bunch of Mario Cristobal
he's
cuts.
Both met and
Our
exceeded
Carson Beck right here.
expectations, both as a player and as a teammate, as a person, as a leader. And, it's kind of interesting. We've been at, I believe, 17 practices and an entire summer, and we still have a couple of weeks to keep getting ready for every single game coming up this season. He's been excellent. And, again, man, just, this is kind of that neutral week, right? It's like purgatory week. You're not in game week, and you're not exactly in camp and school started. So the bottom line is the work continues for him. We're going to push him. We're going to press him, as well as everybody else in the organization.
I say Trevor Harris, right? You're in purgatory.
Yeah.
Before the show. You're in purgatory.
How we doing?
Doing great. Thanks for sending over all these cuts, by the way. I'll play more from Mario.
Oh, no problems. It's in my inbox. Like, I might as well just give this to somebody. It's Pete Shepard who'd use it.
Oh, I appreciate you. Let me play one more. Here's Carson Beck, Mario Cristobal on Carson Beck's receivers.
Well, I think his performance is the input, right? I mean, guys that perform well together, that speaks so loudly, you don't have to say anything. So I think it sticks out on the film, and let's call it what it is, man. If a guy's supposed to be at 12 yards and he's consistently at 15 or 16 or 9, well, you know what? We're not quite there yet, because timing and precision in the passing game, as you know, Joe, is critical, cannot be compromised. So we have honed in. We're in a situation where we feel really, really good about who the two deep is, but we're going to keep the competitive part as to who rolls out there first alive.
Can't wait to see it. Tony Johnson, CJ Daniels, Trader, who else? Tight end that Elijah Lofton. And the offensive defensive line are being highly, highly touted, which is why Carson Beck should 24-3 as a starter at Georgia, needs to cut down on the 13 interceptions, and I think he will. He should have plenty of time for this.
I think he's got plenty of time. Plus, he's got a wide receiver group that's kind of veteranish because last year he was with a bunch of rookies, as I like to say, at Georgia. So I like to say that's gonna be a big difference because I think he a lot of his wide receivers in Georgia just gave him a raw deal. I didn't think they didn't win for it half the time. So let's see if that changes at least here at Miami.
Hope so. I don't expect Cam Moore type numbers because those were. But I think he's going to be when it's all said and done. If he stays healthy, I think you will hear his name pop up as far as possible Heisman hopefuls. But everybody's all excited. Everybody can't talk enough about in the trenches of Miami coming in ranked preseason 10th. Last year they came in ranked, I think, 18th. Before the season. So high expectations. Huge game coming up with the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame at Hard Rock. That place is going to be absolutely Sardine City, out of control.
Oh, yeah.
I'm happy to say I'll be there. I can't wait. Staying overnight, too. So I'm going to have a...
Did you use one of the hotels I gave you?
No, because it was sold out.
Wait, what?
It was sold out. No, I found a place about 5 or 6 miles away.
Well, that's not bad.
That was pretty reasonably priced.
So it was call that a win.
$150. So it was good. The ones you gave me were either completely sold out or I'm not paying $450 for a night. And they jack up the prices, especially for that game coming up, like they will for Florida and other Florida State, like they will for those games.
They will do for the Gator game no matter what. That game's going to be.
Everyone
says Notre Dame gives me. I think the Gator game is going to be more nutty, anyways, because it's going to have everyone from Gainesville and wherever from above is going to be down here in South Florida.
There's some Gator fans all over Florida anyway, just like there are Canes fans and State fans all over. But I'm hoping that, I'm hoping already that the Hurricane fans have already bought up most of the tickets. I
haven't got an email from hurricanestickets.com, so that seems a good thing, I like to say.
Yeah. I got an email from them the other day. It's saying there's a seat here, a seat there available. But I think it's going to be.
I want to go to that game. Like, I want to go to the Florida game a lot more, but it's like I look at it as like someone's got to produce these games, so I'll take the paycheck. Because
will you be producing a week from Sunday, August 31st, 7:30 kickoff.
Pregame starts at 3 p.m. on 104.3.
4.5 hours before.
Oh,
that is awesome.
Oh yeah, that's how we do it.
Man, that is fantastic. So, what is your pregame show looking like at QAM?
Honestly,
now the Cut FM. Thank God for that.
Honestly, I have no idea. I have not even asked Victor Bermudez, who is the executive producer of the Miami Hurricanes on radio, but I will say this. Tune in. I like to say tune in. Don't touch that dial. Preset to the P1, and we'll be good to go for Hurricane football pregame.
Joe Zagacki with the call once again.
Don Bailey Jr.
earlier. Yeah, so I mean, it's got to be really. It's exciting stuff, as it always is this time of year. And then I know on the back of people's Hurricanes minds, sometimes they're like Red Sox. You're waiting for the penny drops.
More like the Cubs. More the Cubs fan
what's
too.
What's going to happen? Let's just get through week one, and just find a way to beat Notre Dame. And they are I believe 2.5 or 3 point underdog.
Okay. I don't look at gambling lines anymore for college football anymore. I don't gamble anymore, which is the funnier part. Like I should be very proud of myself for doing that ever since I got down here. I haven't touched a sports book in a minute.
Well, that's too bad.
I know it's just a neat thing.
But let me see. Coming up, let me see what the current line is. They are. Notre Dame's favored by 2.5. The total is 50.5.
Wow.
I think I would probably go under, believe it or not, in that game. I know it's hard to say when you talk about the Miami Hurricane defense from last year, but I think Heatherton has done, for all accounts, brought over his schemes from the Golden Gophers of Minnesota. I think you're going to see a much improved Miami Hurricane defense, certainly in the trenches. There is no question about that. But we get closer and closer to week 0. Are you guys carrying any of the games this week? You carrying the Ireland game by chance? The Iowa State, Kansas State game?
No, we have Game Day Uncensored pregame for the Dolphins.
Because you don't carry the Dolphins and Jackson.
No, we do our we had our pre and post game show. I got to produce the post game show at 10 o'clock at night. Yay me!
The noon game. The game's on at noon. Iowa State and Kansas State.
No, I think we have our. We're doing next Friday night's Georgia Tech Colorado game. If that counts. As
check out next Friday night.
Yeah, we're doing that game. I know that. We got that Friday. I gotta run the board for that game. So
yeah, Deion Sanders, head coach of the Buffaloes, laid down the law with the kids. I don't know if you saw that video about.
No, I have not actually.
Yeah, about not wearing headsets to class and dressing like gentlemen and all that stuff. And he finds out about it, they're getting benched.
I feel like he did this his first year too. So I feel like it's a new thing. Like, I've seen this before anyway. So
yeah.
So yeah, I can't wait for Deion to spike some AirPods. That's what I'm ready to see. Spike the core out of them. Like, grab them. Damn.
Did you see what happened in the Little League World Series yesterday with South Carolina and South Dakota?
No, I've not.
Where's Angel?
Do you want to know what I was doing last night?
I don't know. Is it a disturbing visual alert or?
No, I will say this. I was watching that Jerry Jones documentary.
Oh, I think it's fantastic. America's Team. I've watched the first 4 episodes. I think it's fantastic. I think it's really, really good.
Yes.
And you can, in fact, Steve DeOssie is going to join me at 9:00 today.
Yes.
Who was there during the transition? He was there that last year. Well, for him, he was drafted by the Cowboys. He was there during the transition. So imagine going from Tom Landry, Jimmy Johnson, not to mention Jerry Jones and his ego.
Yep.
And then get traded to the Giants and go to Bill Parcells, where he really excelled and won a Super Bowl in '91 before playing at the end with the Patriots and Jets. So I can't wait to get Steve's perspective.
Yeah,
All the years I worked with him, we never really talked about the transition period. Not that
no one does.
Not that I can remember, but he was part of it. You see him early on heading into the locker room, and I know he didn't get along with. It had to be tough for him at the time to go from Landry and then the team really starting to falter a little bit. And then Jimmy Johnson comes in with all this hype from the U.
Yeah.
He's going to turn things around. It was a disaster to start with. And then it did
my only complaint is I wish they went into the Chan Gailey and like Dave Campo and Bill Parcells era, because I
don't know if they get to that part. I don't know.
No.
I don't know. I haven't seen the whole thing yet. So
okay, I will not spoil anything. So
obviously you just did, but that's okay.
I apologize. I watched the first 2 on Tuesday night. Then I literally from 1:00 till 7:00, 7:15. I crushed the rest of it. By the way, so
I was back when I was at WEI. So Hard Knocks' first year ever in 2000 was the Cowboys camp, and it was in San Antonio.
No, that was the Ravens was the first year.
The Ravens
they were the second. They were the second season.
Second year. So HBO flew me down there with a guest. I took my big friend Luigi DeMarco from the North End.
Yes.
And it was only for 3 days. And all I had to do was go to camp, observe.
Okay.
For a half an hour, however long I wanted to, then come back on the air and talk about it for at least 2 minutes. All expenses paid, everything. All that. We go down there, and Dave Campo immediately was a joke. And we're on the field watching. And what I couldn't understand initially is how during that camp, players were doing drills and then going back and doing stretching exercises, which I didn't understand that. And they lost like 3 players in camp because of this injury or that injury. And I can't remember who it was, but a couple of starters. And what a joke of a camp that he ran. And my room was right next door to associate head coach who lives down here now in Florida, in Southwest Florida. Oh, my God, why am I having a brain cramp? He coached the Jets. And he was the only one that had.
Oh, is he the Bengals old Bengals?
Yeah,
Bruce Cosgrave.
Yes. His room was next to mine. And I remember walking into our room. We had like a suite. It was very good what HBO did for us. And Bruce Cosgrave is. If I played poker with in the past down here in Southwest Florida, by the way, he's a very humble guy. Doesn't really like to talk about football.
You mean knowing old Bengals head coaches?
Yeah, but I remember walking. Hass, and I said, "Hey, coach, how's it going?" He just went, "Eh." I'm like, and I said, "Maybe you should be coaching." And he's like, "Eh." Yeah, that's it. So I quoted him on the show, and I got back to Boston. I said, "Yeah, Coach Cosler said, eh." But what a disaster. And then Bill came in, Parcells came in and straightened him out a little bit with Quincy Carter at quarterback.
My joke to Cowboy fans is who has a better deep ball, Quincy Carter or Drew Henson? then they get into an argument with they I see Cowboy fans arguing. It's like you drop the bomb and you just leave. It's the most funniest thing of all time. So
well, Drew was the better baseball player. We know that.
I know that. I always say that. It's like who's got the better deep ball, Drew Henson or Quincy Cotta? I haven't done that joke in a minute. I'm gonna have to break that out again. So,
but I'm pumped.
Oh yeah, it's very good. So it was perfectly well made, Doc. I'll say that for sure.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah,
Angel. Could we? I brought this up. I wanted to play this video, and Trevor has not seen it yet. If we could scroll down right under Judge Caprio.
Oh, shout out to Fairfield, Connecticut, by the way. That's
Oh, absolutely. That kid Eddie Pellegrini. Wow.
Yes.
The kid's pitching and hitting, unbelievable. Down 6-1 last night. South Carolina. What a comeback against South Dakota Angels. I want to play this video. We could scroll down on my Twitter page. Yeah, right there. So check out this down 6-1 in the bottom of the 6th inning. Here is how South Carolina came back and won.
The outfield very shallow. And that ball is poked down the line, and it is a fair ball.
Wow.
Tease gives chase. Steele is in, and it's a long single for Sutton Gravel.
Be at third for sure. He paused thinking they were going to catch it.
Gerard hits one to center. This sends the center fielder back. Larson can't get it. Now Bennett has scored, and the brakes are on at second and third. Irmo has some cooking. 3-2. Ball
wow.
4, and it's 6-4 with nobody out, and Joe Giulietti coming up. Ball 4. It's 6-5 on a walk.
This pitcher, Kenny Rogers 2.0.
That one is to right, and it is past the right fielder, diving Layfeld. One is in. Here comes the winning run. Andrew Bogan does it. South Carolina shocks South Dakota, and they win it 7-6.
Sorry about Rushmore. Sorry about Rush, but that ball's got to be caught in right field. No, they're all good kids, you know.
Yes.
But man, that's got to be a killer. The ball hits off your glove, you don't catch it in an All-Star game.
I thought he was going to walk in the next 3 runners like Kenny Rogers did.
A couple of tough calls that he got there, very close. In Little League especially, they usually give you the benefit of the doubt and call a lot more strikes than balls. But anyway, great comeback. The Connecticut team is in the championship game. They'll face the winner of the South Dakota is in the loser bracket. They play South Dakota plays. I forget who Connecticut beat yesterday.
I don't know, but they won. I found out.
So they play the winner of that one in the American Championship, and I think we'll play the winner of Aruba and Japan.
Ooh,
to go to the whole championship. So that's
I think it's the first time since Connecticut's been in the college of Little League World Series. It's the Chris Drury team, I believe. I could be wrong. So
yeah, I thought there was another team that made it. I don't know. They've had a couple teams.
Okay, the one I was always told was the Chris Drury one. I was always that was the standard. By the way,
they won the whole thing. Yes, Chris Drury, that one, hockey player. Yes, absolutely.
I was playing Little League, and it was like the standard is the Chris Drury team. I don't care what anybody says. I was like, all right, cool. I can even make those All-Star teams. It was always a log jam.
The Kobe Webster one back in the day when Washington beat Taiwan after Taiwan had won it 8 million years in a row, and that kid. And you've seen is it Cody or Kobe? I forget, but you saw they've done a documentary on it, the 30 for 30 on ESPN. That's really cool.
Yeah, I remember that. That was a good one.
12-year-old All-Star team in Narragansett, Rhode Island in 1979. We all thought we were a hot shit until they didn't have double elimination back there, just in the state tournament. They do now, but we got rocked by Charahoe 13-1. It sucked. We must have made 8,000 errors. I didn't, but
all I remember was when you look at the Little League stuff these days. I remember our uniforms were like, at least I forget who made them. They're at least cool. These new uniforms that Adidas makes is like, Jesus Christ, what happened to the uniform? They used to be classy, you know. Just
my
one color.
Team when I was in Warwick, we made it to the state semis, but even that, you know, you got to add 2 more games to win before you even get to the regionals. But
yeah,
that was the last time when I was 11. I was on 5 other All-Star teams after that.
Nice.
Lost every one of them by double digits. Every single one.
Oh.
By double digits.
All I remember is the best part about summer league, we would get the all-star, like New Canaan had an all-star team, and like they didn't want to make new unis, so they gave us the all-star team uni.
Yeah.
It was the sleeveless jersey with the t-shirt underneath.
Oh, cool.
My mom was going through stuff. She's been doing stuff lately. She found the jersey. Is like, do you know what happened to the t-shirt? Like, I wore that t-shirt so much. It was like the perfect undershirt. That's why, and I wore it like for baseball. It was perfect. So shout out to New Canaan, by the way. So that's a Fairfield County for
absolutely. The so that's but when you see you see these videos, I mean, it looks like they're on a major league field. You don't realize
I know
how small the field. I mean,
I look at it now. It's like we could have, like, if like me and you, we would play some home run derby no matter what. Anyways, at least get like Angel. Like we'll have Angel like pitch to us to see, or get Josh Hamilton's
tennis
pitch.
balls. Even if you use tennis balls,
We'll use tennis balls.
Yeah. Do you ever play that game where I'm obviously a lot older than you, but where you throw the tennis ball, you got to find a place for it, and it ricochets off part of a brick wall and shoots up in the air, and if it hits another part of a wall behind you,
We might have, yeah. I remember.
Home run.
I think we made that. We played that back in the day. Yeah.
We were playing that one day. I think we were like 14, or I was either freshman or sophomore. I told him, freshman year.
Ooh.
My friend Lou does it, right? You're not going to believe this. We're playing the game. All of a sudden, he does it. His basically entire arm fractured. And he had to be in a cast like this for almost the entire freshman year.
No.
His right hand, and his hand that he wrote with, like this.
Learn lefty, my friend. Learn lefty, my friend.
It happened. He's like, ow. We thought he was joking. You know, he's like, I gotta go. Next day, he comes into class the next day with a cast. I'm like, Jesus, what the hell happened? Somebody run on. No, we were playing that stupid game. Anyway,
it's like watching, like when you watch an old like baseball footage and you watch someone throw and their arm blows out. That's what visualizes.
He tore his rotator cuff. He snapped some ligament in a bone. I don't know what it was.
Call Dr. James Andrew up. He'll fix that up immediately.
Dr. James Andrew might have still been in school back then. Back in 1982.
Maybe, or we might have to ask Tommy John to do it at least.
Yeah, exactly. All right, what else? Any more new? Matthew Judon, thank you for those cuts. I said it. Him going from Harbaugh to Belichick to, partly Mayo, and then to this.
Well, he went to Atlanta last year. Raheem Morris too.
That's right, with Raheem Morris. Last year, I forgot about that. And then I don't know. He's talking about culture. What culture is there in Miami except to? But he's smart. I'm not playing no freaking training camp. I'm not going through that. I'll just come on and hang out for the last preseason game, and then.
The Dolphins need help on corner, and they're everyone's favorite cornerback. That a lot of the beat reporters love still Xavier Howard. He's on Indy now, and I think they need help on the secondary way more. Anyways, the pass rush is the pass rush. People say, "Oh, it looks good against Detroit." It's like it's preseason. Wake me up when it's game time, anyways. So, I looked at it like this is. I think if you're going to look at how the culture is going to be broken real quickly, I think Matthew Judon and Tyreek Hill and a few others are going to have a sledgehammer ready to go in their lockers and just start effing shit up anyways.
There's going to be a rebellion.
Oh, I can't wait for it.
There's going to be a rebellion.
Oh, I can't wait for Spain. It's going to happen in Spain. It's going to be.
Oh, that's right.
I am on Angel. Write this down. McDaniel's going to be fired on the plane or somewhere after the game in Spain, by the way.
The plane takes off without him, and they leave him in Spain. And then he goes on to coach a soccer team like Ted Lasso and becomes world famous.
No, he's gonna be the next coach for the. Remember when the NFL Europe was around?
Oh yeah,
he's gonna be the coach of the Barcelona Fire or Barcelona Rain.
There are European football leagues, if I'm not mistaken, that are still in existence. And, that's I think some minor league type of stuff. But anyway.
I heard the Berlin Rain and the one of the old Scotland Tottenham things, whatever things were. I heard they're hiring for head coach.
My own partner Craig Sheeman, when I was at ESPN Southwest Florida, he broadcast those games back in the day. He told me all sorts of stories, and Craig is about as straight laced as there is. So
I remember listening to his old show of James Washington back in the day.
Yes, yep. And James was on with us several times. In fact, James Washington, you saw in the documentary.
Yes,
he was MVP in one of the Super Bowls.
I honestly, those were my heydays. Him and during the middays, I got pulled out of school a lot because of like appointments and stuff, and his show was on. I was like, this is perfect anyway.
Yeah, he was national on Fox, and now they're all hanging on there. They just sold a whole cluster of stations in Fort Myers, so everybody there is walking on eggshells. I saw what happened.
Shout out to Craig Sheeman. I was wondering.
I love Craig to death. He's a great guy, and wish him all the best. And
definitely.
But tick-tock. But he's a veteran. He knows the writing's on the wall. But hopefully, I don't want to see anybody lose their job.
No, it's hard times these days right now in radio. So
they just fired their other big time ops manager in Vegas the other day.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and I know people in Boston who haven't gotten their bonuses yet, and they're ready to fucking have a.
Oh yeah, Beasley. I saw that thing.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I saw. I was actually. I think one of the days I heard that. I saw it on. It made its way to Crossing Broad, which is one of the sites I do a few things for.
Yeah.
So I'm like, sounds familiar. Anyways.
Mm-hmm. Yep. No question about it. All right, so getting back to the Hurricanes and the Dolphins, is there any buzz about the Miami Dolphins, or it's strictly is 90% of the people that call in Canes and Notre Dame coming up?
It's split, really. Like there's some people who are Dolphins and stuff. It's a make it or break it year.
Is anybody confident with Miami at all, or is it just a countdown to when Charlie Brown gets canned?
I think it's more of a countdown to football, really. It's like everybody wants football. Nope.
Yep.
All the goodwill that the Marlins built up after sweeping the Yankees has gone down the toilet. Anyway.
Well, they beat the Red Sox. That was
they swept the Yankees and with all the Yankee fans in town, and which they ran out of parking, by the way. So
they did.
Yeah, the Saturday game they ran out of parking. Yeah.
What do they charge usually? 50 or more?
Their parking for regular games is 15.
They're 15.
15 for
and they probably jacked it up for the Yankees.
For the Yankee series, $30.
See, that should be illegal.
I agree.
That's gotta. I don't know. I never understand the price gouging laws when it comes to that kind of stuff. I never get it. But anywho, it just
it was Saturday was a joke, and then we went Friday. I went Friday, and that was enough anyway. So, and it's more like we just want football really down here. I think I'm officially saying this down here. I haven't been on radio in a couple of days. I am saying it is a must win. If you lose to Daniel Jones week 1, the Dolphins should just fold up the season already.
Well,
if you lose to Daniel Jones week 1.
Where in that game in Miami?
In Indy. At Indy, by the way.
You're losing.
Oh yeah.
You're gonna lose.
Indoors too. Yeah.
You probably should have been praying for Anthony Richardson, who missed 48% completion percentage last year. Daniel Jones actually looks pretty, but that is a screwed up organization too. It's just silly not starting Richardson.
Yeah, it's dumb.
You were dumb to draft him as high as you did, but once you do it, at least he's got to play the first 3 or 4 games, and then you can bring in. This is not, like I said, this is not like bringing in Steve Young for Joe Montana.
No.
Or not even anything close to that. This is Daniel Jones coming.
I can't even find a comp for him anyways.
And you hear Steichen talking about his completion percentage. Yeah, when you only average 4.6 a pass, you're going to have a high completion percentage. That guy can't consistently throw the ball down the field. Maybe new environment. Maybe we'll see more of that. Watch him throw a bomb on the first play.
Oh, if that happens, I'm gonna laugh so hard. I'm gonna cackle. Anyways, I'm gonna start laughing at Dolphin fans. Like, you bleepers made me waste my time watching this game on a Sunday. I'm going back to Red Zone at least.
All right, buddy. What's your schedule like the rest of the week?
I gotta do post game on Saturday. I gotta do late night, so 10 p.m. actually, right after Dolphins Jaguars. Upper Bowl podcast be out today. We are done with the divisional previews.
Nice.
AFC South, NFC East. My buddy Jordan Freeman's on. And my buddy from iHeart Philadelphia, John Jansen. NFC East. We did it last year. It led to good things. I might as well bring him back on. It's our yearly thing. We talked about the Cowboys doc a little bit. He has not watched it yet, so we are. I told him this was a tease. We're going to talk Cowboys doc next time when he's on. So
nice. Maybe Micah Parsons will his back injury will have improved. Of course,
I heard it's a hamstring too. Also,
what a mess. Anyway, all right, Trev. Great stuff. Thanks for the cuts as always. Trevor Harris from WQAM in Miami. Everybody getting ready a week from Sunday for Hurricanes to hopefully kick ass on the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame. All right, and just like that, from one great guest to another. Usually he's on Wednesdays, but here he is on a Thursday, and I believe he's in the great city of Boston. The one and only Bill Speros from the Boston Herald and from bookies.com, the senior betting analyst. And man, I had Bill Bird on earlier this week. This Yankee Red Sox series, first of all, good morning, Bill. I'm expecting playoff type atmosphere and fireworks of some sort. Hopefully, they go in the Red Sox favor. But good morning. How is your? You got to Boston okay?
Yeah, we are live from the Hilton Garden Inn in Waltham.
Ah, I've stayed there before.
Yeah, it's a fine medium hotel.
Is your wife? Is somebody sleeping? And you have to be very, very quiet.
No, she's awake.
Okay. How's the? I heard it's a little cool up there.
It's beautiful. Made by Donkey's Run this morning. It was 59 and sunny. It was outstanding weather. I mean, I just come for the weather, you know.
Yeah, it's a change in August. Obviously, down here it's hot and humid the first couple of months, but then again, about 2 or 3 more weeks, and people will be, saying how they can't wait to get to Florida.
Pretty much.
Anywho, so I'm not very excited about how the Red Sox will play, obviously, for a variety of reasons. However, maybe this series comes at the right time, the jolt that they need. I hope they can. I know I'm expecting a split out of this series. I'd love to take 3 out of 4. Need Giolito to do his thing tonight. I think they have a good shot to win this game tonight. But what are your expectations for this series where 3 of the 4 games will be on national TV, including tonight on Fox? I can't wait. I think there's going to be fireworks.
I hope so. My expectation is that the bullpen's going to implode. Because that's kind of what we've been seeing of late. But, it's funny, the Yankees have been the Red Sox get-right team for the last 4 years. We saw it in June. They started that hellacious run. They took 7 of 8 against Tampa and New York. Remember Devers' last, swing in a Red Sox uniform was that home run against the Yankees. So the Red Sox have had success against the Yankees of late, this year included. So, I don't think 3 out of 4 is unreasonable, only because they seem to know how to handle the Yankees. Maybe Cora's got a line on the pitch comm there. Maybe he's got some sort of radar or something. But I don't have this impending feeling of doom that I'm used to. Again, because they do play the Yankees so well. They do play the Yankees well, to their credit. So, a split 3 out of 4. I don't think that's unreasonable at all. I mean, the Yankees are terrible. They're just not that good. And, their lineup is like, the Red Sox, they got a handful of good players and they got a bunch of Fred Stanleys. The Red Sox, have 3 good hitters and 6 Butch Hobsons. So it's 2 very similar lineups, and it'll be the, who can get the most out of the pitching staff, whose starters are going to go the deepest. Well, you're gonna have to get 6 innings out of these guys.
I think so.
And the Bronx.
Yes.
So, and those are high stress innings, but this is, look, if you want to make the playoffs and you don't want to choke, because it's a choke if they don't make the playoffs this year now, you're going to have to win these games. It's very simple.
And they got that little league right field at the Bronx, so a lot of left-handed hitters, you just got to hit a pop-up, you get a home run.
Yeah, well, you also have to make contact with the ball, too.
I understand that, but you can make a lot less contact in that part of right field than any other park in the league. Seriously, there are routine pop flies there. There'll be routine pop flies at Fenway by a mile, and they're home runs at Yankee Stadium. But hey, it's the same. Everybody's got the same. 0 for 13 is the number. I thought it was most frustrating. One of the most frustrating losses. You can argue one way or the other. Should he have sent the runner home? Third base coach the other night. The scouting reports say don't do it, but then sometimes you got to play your gut and go by the feel of the game. And I would have sent him, and not just because of what happened afterwards, the horrible throw, you would have been safe by a mile. But it should not have even come to that.
Well, exactly. You send him.
Yeah, over 13 was send him position
because you left the bases loaded in 3 consecutive innings without scoring a run. That's why you send the guy.
Yeah,
because you haven't done jack.
Yep.
And and the guy you got the other day hits a home run,
Yep.
that's why you send the guy, because of the situation of the game. You know, I mean, I swear to God, the Red Sox are going to be the first team in Major League history to record 4 outs in an inning. I don't know how it's going to happen, but they're going to do it. And to leave the bases loaded 3 innings in a row and not score off the bases loaded 3 innings in a row, that is when you look up Red Soxian in the dictionary online, they're going to have a little video of that. And they're going to say, this is Red Soxian, leaving the bases loaded 3 innings in a row and not scoring with the bases loaded. That's why you send the guy. And how come every time they have the bases loaded, right? It doesn't matter the situation. Every time they have the bases loaded, it's Abraham Toro and Connor Wong and Abraham Toro batting. How come Abraham Toro bats twice every time when the bases are loaded?
That's a great point. And he hit into that double play hit into the other day was just brutal. Absolutely brutal. I feel like sometimes, like in this Little League World Series, that every player has to bat 1 through 12. That's why I feel like sometimes it's like, do something. I mean, I cringed when I saw that.
No, it's like, okay, the bases are loaded. Yep, here comes Abraham Toro. It's every time. It's unbelievable.
Yep.
It's like Rob Manfred passed a rule that says Abraham Toro has to bat twice, 2 out of 3 at bats when the bases are loaded, so the Red Sox won't score. I mean, it's like, you get that, you have 6 Abraham Toros in the lineup, but that's the problem right there. That's why they're not going to go anywhere in the playoffs. I still think they're going to make the playoffs because, the American League is not good. The American League East is not good. I mean, they could have caught the Blue Jays if the bullpen didn't implode these last few nights. They could be like 2 games out right now. But that's who they are. And of course, Cora's bitching about, this is the team we have. You knew that was coming, right? You didn't hear him bitching. You did not hear Alex Cora bitch about the lineup when they were 25-10, right?
Yep.
Did he say, no, he did not. But then the bullpen implodes 2 nights in a row. And what do we get? We get the same old crap with this guy, right?
Well, he should have left Crochet in. I'm sorry. This is what you have to do. You leave your 8th in at least to the 7th inning. Get him, and I don't care about Chapman having to warm up the other night. He pitched 3 pitches on Saturday, and you can't bring him in on Sunday. That's bullshit. I don't care what. He had to be pissed about that. Chapman had to be pissed. I know it's warming up and everything. I mean, what are we talking about here? This isn't Little League. You got to bring in Chapman in that situation. You absolutely have to. He threw 3 pitches on Saturday. Come on, man.
Again, I just love it. As soon as the wheels come off, what does Corey do? He starts to bitch about the lineup. He starts to bitch about the roster. I mean, this guy is
chasing at bats. How many times we hear that in the last few years? Chasing at bats.
If only you could do something about it, manager of the team. If only you could do something about it.
Well, the pitching matchup tonight, Gill versus Giolito. Gill is, by the way, 3 starts against the Red Sox this year, 1-1 with a microscopic 1.10 ERA. Giolito against the Yankees, 3-2, 4.85 ERA and 5 career starts. He hasn't faced them this season. They got to get at least 6 and 3 earned runs or less out of him tonight. And
that's the magic formula.
Yep.
That's your playoff formula right there. 6 innings, 3 earned runs. What do they got? 30-odd games left? 35, 40 games left?
Mm-hmm. And back in the second spot in the wild card race. And, Kansas City creeping up. They're 2.5 behind now. Seattle, who got walloped by Philadelphia. They got swept.
Holy crap. Wouldn't it be awesome if, like, on that last Sunday of the season, or whatever day the season ends now, I think it's still Sunday or Thursday. I don't remember. If, like, Mike Yastrzemski hits a home run in, like, the bottom of the 14th, that knocks the Red Sox out of the playoffs.
Oh, my God.
How awesome would that be? That would almost be as awesome as in 2 years when you're begging Linda Henry to buy the Celtics.
If that ever happened, wow.
It would be awesome. It would be like the best thing ever.
I don't know about the best thing ever.
I would lose money and be happy. I'm going to lose money if the Red Sox don't make the playoffs.
It would add to the resume.
Half of me wants to brag that I got the Red Sox at plus 230 to make the playoffs. And the other half of me wants them to choke just so we can say you still suck because you didn't spend money. You let Devers go. You salary dumped him for a guy that is legit going to be okay. If If he was in Florida, he would be convicted of arson. But it's Massachusetts, so they don't charge you with crimes anymore. But Jordan Hicks is an arsonist. He is a lit 3 wins this year at least. And I think if he were to do that in Florida, Ron DeSantis would strap him into the electric chair, even though they don't have an electric chair.
Hang on a second. Oh, sorry about that. Angel, at 8:50, can you please text Monsieur DeOssie? He said to give him a 10-minute heads up, even though he says he doesn't really need it, but just in case, to come on at 9 o'clock. Before we get into maybe some football stuff here,
You got to clear the way for Rob Manfred at 9 o'clock.
How about Rob Manfred and dropping that bombshell during the Little League World Series about geographical relocation, which to me I found semi-amusing, even though I think baseball people like myself will lose their minds. But get a television contract first, and then you can start talking about realignment and all that stuff. But still, pretty big news to drop during the Little League World Series the other night. And then you saw what could be the realignment, and just from the Red Sox, Yankees, Phillies, and Mets in the same division. I think they have a hard enough time marketing the game. I don't buy his bullshit about traveling and all that stuff. I think that's nonsense.
Well, I'm glad
I don't like it, and I think it'll hurt the game.
I'm glad you mentioned travel because
yes,
that's my forte.
Yes,
and I do these travel logs every year, and there is such a massive disparity between, obviously because it's funny, the NHL and the NBA. What? Not counting the teams going to Europe.
Yeah.
What cities teams are going to travel the most this year in the NBA and the NHL? Now, if you had been paying attention to my work, you would know this answer.
I tweeted it out. I'm just trying.
But the answer is Dallas.
Yes.
Dallas is traveling the most in the NHL, and it's traveling the most in the NBA of the teams not going to Germany and England this year. So if you're talking about and their miles, the Mavs are traveling 50,000 miles. The Nets and the Knicks are traveling like 32,000 miles. So you do that, you figure out the math, right? Break down, that's 18,000 miles, at 500 miles an hour. That's an extra 30, 40, 50 hours of travel, whatever it is. I mean, that's a full extra 2 days on the road. So, the thing about, I love working with these numbers because you can break them down and you can come up with stats to say, well, why do the Mavericks have to travel 2 more full days than the Knicks, right? Obviously, the answer is geography.
Yeah.
So, and the same holds true with baseball, right? I do the mileage in baseball. It's the same issue every year. Obviously, it's a little bit weighted more toward the coasts, the West Coast in particular. In baseball, half the teams in baseball are in the Eastern time zone. So, if you're going to talk about this stuff, there is some data to back it up, right? And obviously these people are so data driven, and that's another reason why I do these things. I got the NFL age. I just completed the average NFL age of every team based on their projected 53-man rosters. So you can see what are the youngest teams, who's spending money, right? What does travel matter? Obviously, it matters. Teams get worn down. What does age matter? To me, I look at these age breakdowns and I see who's spending money and who isn't spending money. So these data sets matter. So to your point about these divisions, there is some data to back that up. And obviously the geography too. Yeah, I mean, it would be great to a point if the Red Sox and Mets and Phillies were in the same division, to a point. I don't necessarily think you want to play each of those teams more than 15 times a year. 19 times a year was ridiculous.
Yeah, well, that's what it'd probably be again. I mean, I would
think. I think that's a little too much. But if you were to maybe add one more series with each team to make it 15 games instead of 12, I guess that would be okay. But they have.
Look at these other divisions, the way it's proposed. And Baltimore in the Mid-Atlantic, it's like the Little League World Series. Baltimore, Washington, Pittsburgh, Cleveland. Are you serious? You could have a team under 500 in the division.
The Orioles.
Yeah.
The Orioles, they have an epic rivalry with the Indians.
But you're again. Then the Twins, Detroit, Milwaukee, and Toronto. I mean, the Southeast, the Braves, the Marlins, Tampa Bay. I can't see who else without my glasses. Who else I got down there? Well, it's to be determined. National League Midwest, and this is the real. You got they have the Cubs and the Cardinals, so they had to keep that together. Then the White Sox and the Reds. The Central will be the Rockies, Kansas City, Texas, and Houston. And in the NL Southwest, the Dodgers, San Diego, Angels, and Arizona. And the Northwest, Seattle, the A's, San Fran, and some team. I just, I think it's going to hurt. They're the hardest league. They don't market themselves well anyway.
Well, they're trying.
They're
right?
trying, but this isn't going to help. I don't think this helps.
I don't know. I don't know if it hurts. I don't know if it helps. The TV contracts are going to come. I mean, they're just deciding where they want to go. You got to understand this. Again, we've talked about this. There's so much money out there from these streaming services. If MLB just said screw it, Apple would give them the same deal they gave MLS, where every game is on Apple, and baseball television revenues would triple. Apple TV would happily give MLB whatever they want to have all their games. Like I think we broke this down here before. Apple has enough cash on hand to buy the entire American League, not the TV rights, but every team in the American League. They could literally do it today with cash. So yeah, they want these streaming services want these teams. They have more money than God. And, baseball, like everybody else, all these teams eventually are going to be at a crossroads. So they're going to have to figure out, how much money are we going to turn down via streaming to stay on a broadcast platform? And of course, then you have antitrust issues, and you have the government that's going to step in and say, wait a second, we're giving you guys an antitrust exemption, and you're not putting your games on network television for free. So again, all of these things like gambling, they're all still in flux. We're in an incredible period right now in terms of technology, sports business, and gambling, where everything is still in transition. Nothing is settled, right? Nothing is settled with gambling. Nothing is settled with this whole streaming thing. We're in the mission of that. And nothing is settled in terms of how these team ownership situations are going to go. So this is kind of it's a fun, exciting period to cover or observe. But it is tough at times for fans because, like today, ESPN launched its app today. For $30 a month, you can get NESN Plus, or you can get literally everything ever on ESPN forever.
And ESPN Plus, a month.
Everything. Everything. ESPN does. Everything. Every game. Everything. NFL, college football, SEC, ACC, all of it. All of it's on that app. For $29 a month, you can get that, or you can get Red Sox in 2 and Charlie Moore fishing.
Or Bruins in 2 as well. But I also heard
wait, Bruins. You can get Bruins in 2, and you can get At Home with Blades.
Yeah,
I don't want to sell them short.
I heard their app. I heard the NESN Plus app sucks. I heard there's a lot of problems with it.
I would not know.
Oh, I wouldn't either. I wouldn't get it. But here's what I am hearing from one media person said: the next couple of days, Apple is out. They're fully out. So Friday Night Baseball on Apple is going to be no more, according to this report. NBC Peacock is in for Friday and Sunday, and exclusive and wild card. MLB TV, this is the interesting one, being sold to ESPN for a shitload of money. Now, that's different. It's a different entity from what is. So people are like, well, wow, they're not having Major League Baseball. MLB Network, MLB is very different. MLB TV is a different thing than what ESPN was going to do. And then Netflix is going to get the home run derby. That's also being reported, if that means anything.
Well, see, that's a way to maximize revenue.
Yep.
But at the same time, make sure that games are going to be accessible in local markets for people without, spending an arm and a leg.
Yeah.
They have to balance that. And, it's funny. I mean, Netflix spent $700 million for 3 games on Christmas. So again, these platforms they don't care about the money. The money's not relevant to them. They want the eyeballs.
But
That's why
Rob
you-
Manfred, but you're right. But Rob Manfred has to do like when the Red Sox, when I have the baseball package, and when the Red Sox play the Marlins or Tampa Bay, more importantly, I can't get it. You know, I'd have to go to Hulu TV and pay for Bally Sports over there. This is what Rob Manfred has said. You cannot have blackout restrictions, and the NFL doesn't have blackout restrictions anymore.
Well, that
baseball should not have blackout
that's your
restrictions.
point. See,
Yeah.
that's the issue. That is the granular, and he's talked about this when we met with him in April. As AP Sports editors, he discussed that specific subject about local TV rights.
Mm-hmm.
And the issue that baseball has that the NFL doesn't have, because the NFL did this 65 years ago. The NFL said, no, everybody's TV rights in that. The reason why you know why you're not going to get that in baseball, because the Yankees own Yes, the Mets own SNY, and the Red Sox own NESN. And for those three teams to give that up, something major is going to have to change.
Let's not forget Bally's, Bill. Bally's is involved with a whole bunch of teams in Major League Baseball. They've had serious contract issues. We have Sandy.
I understand.
Oh, that's right. So I mean, they're to me, they're just as big a culprit, that company, as everybody.
Well, how do you get the Steinbrenners, Steve Cohen, and John Henry to give up those local networks? That's Rob Manfred's challenge. Because if you didn't have that, you could easily switch to the same platform that the NFL has, where all the games would be available to everybody. But the problem is you're asking the Red Sox, Yankees, and Mets, three of the four most powerful franchises in baseball, to give up that local, ad money, that local audience money that they have. And it's a different. The NBA is moving toward that. You saw that with the NBA. Everybody wants to move to the NFL model of all the games being available to everybody, like what the NFL does. Like, there's no local Patriots network or anything like that. Everybody wants to move toward that model. The problem is they have existing contracts and they have ownership-owned platforms. The Red Sox own NES and the Yankees own Yes. The Mets own SNY. So you have to deal with those issues and those teams.
But can politicians get involved? I know they tried to in the past. I know, and they may have already. I mean, could this come down to lawsuits by?
Well, you've already heard the rumblings. You've already heard the rumblings of the NFL because they put those. You remember the NFL antitrust deal means that the NFL is not supposed to broadcast any games on Friday nights during high school football season,
Yes.
right? So what did they do with the Friday night game last year? They put it on Peacock. This year, they're putting it on YouTube.
Yep.
So the NFL is trying to be too cute by half by saying, well, we're having a Friday night game during high school football season, but it's not being broadcast. It's on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
So now you have, you're having senators, and this is bipartisan stuff. You're having senators say, wait a second here. Are we really going to be like this? Because hell, everybody watches YouTube now anyway. So that this Friday game that the NFL has, the second day of the season, which falls right in the middle of high school football season in places like Texas, Florida.
Yep.
That is becoming a problem. The NFL is going to have to do something about that. I don't know. I don't know if you'll have that next year, because this has come up already, that they're running afoul of their agreement, and they don't want to lose that antitrust exemption. They don't want to lose that NFL nonprofit status. I don't think they'd be. I think they were trying to be too cute by half, and I think it's going to bite them in the ass. On the flip side, they also want to get 1 billion people on that game, that Friday night Chiefs game. They want to. YouTube is shooting for 1 billion people on that game, 1 billion views.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be interesting to see if they get that. And again, we're in an ever-changing, ever-evolving landscape in the sports broadcasting, business, and gambling space. It is constantly in flux and in fluid for at least the time being.
Last couple minutes here with Bill Speros, great columnist for the Boston Herald and for bookies.com. And speaking of the gambling aspect, anything, we're coming up on football season. Things are heating up. College football week 0 begins this week. But anything national on the home front happening before we welcome in Mr. Steve DeOssie? Anything happening in the gambling front that is eye popping?
Well, again, there's a lot of in the weeds stuff about for instance, yesterday FanDuel announced it's gonna be partnering with the trading market, but it's not going to be doing it for sports betting. In other words, you'll be able to go to FanDuel and you'll be able to trade on whether or not the CPI is going to be over or under 3%, or what the weather in New York is going to be. They're going to begin participating in these trading markets like Kalshi, but not in sports. And that's a huge distinction.
Yeah.
And I've discussed this because the reason why DraftKings and FanDuel don't want to get into the sports trading markets, because those cases are being litigated right now. There's a huge case in Maryland and one of the other, Robinhood, which is a trading market, just sued the state of New Jersey because New Jersey is not allowing them to offer sports contracts. So continually in flux. This issue is going to go to the Supreme Court or the Federal Appeals Court if the Supreme Court doesn't want to hear it. So if the Federal Appeals Court or the Supreme Court is going to decide whether or not Kalshi, Robinhood, and Polymarket can offer contracts on sporting events like they do on stuff like the weather or political issues or the elections, right? No one is saying they can't offer contracts on the elections. But there is a real legitimate case to be made that they can't do it in sports because of what the Supreme Court ruled in 2018, that sports betting is the purview of the states. So there is a legal issue that has to be decided. And once that issue is decided, then we can look at the landscape, and you may be able to basically trade on the outcome of the Chiefs game in all 50 states. So that's a huge, that's again, undecided influx. That's a huge thing. That's why y'all can follow me on Twitter and read my stuff at Bookies, because I get paid to cover this. I get paid to watch it, and this is what I do. So you don't have to.
You're awesome. You don't have to. And I read and retweet as much of your stuff as I can. Hey, enjoy your time in Boston.
Thank you, Pete.
And we'll talk next week when you're back in Florida. Thanks. Bill Speros, great columnist for the Boston Herald and senior betting analyst from bookies.com. And with that said, man, it's been a while. Well, we saw each other at Glenn Ordway's Massachusetts Hall of Fame induction ceremony, but we welcome in the one and only, big round of applause, my friend, proud to call him my friend, former co-worker, Super Bowl champion. I saw him basically in the first 30 seconds of the America's Team documentary, walking off the field in frustration while he was a member of the Dallas Cowboys. Steve DeOssie, great long snapper and better linebacker. Actually, one of the best long snappers in the history of the game. A great linebacker as soon as he got to the Giants and escaped the Jerry Jones, Jimmy Johnson era of the Cowboys. And he did play for the Jets and the Patriots as well. But Steve, thanks so much for taking a few. It's been...
We just say New York. We don't say the Jets.
Am I going to be forced to root for that team for the first time in my life when they play Pittsburgh, just to watch the look on Aaron Rodgers' face, AKA Flaky Boy, as I call him? But that's...
I am with you on that. We've talked about that before. Yeah. I mean, has there ever been a more talented, sulky, whiny kind of guy than Aaron Rodgers? Phenomenally talented.
Did you hear him yesterday?
Oh,
he goes on. It basically says he doesn't try to make the drama about him.
Oh, come on. Meanwhile, he's also the same guy that said his 3 MVPs are more important than Super Bowls. I mean, come on. Where's that coming from?
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Thank you so much for taking a few minutes. This is you look great, by the way. You look happy and handsome as always.
I've been doing some research on you. I got some of my boys down there that listen to you all the time. They're saying you're doing great and having fun and enjoying it.
You said we texted last night. You were talking to your former team colleague Max Lane, great guy, great offensive lineman for the Patriots. He's doing well too. So shout out to Max, the mighty Max. Always super. I'm trying to think back, Steve, all the years, all the post-game shows you did. I know we had to talk about the Patriots all the time, but even on the big show, I don't remember us getting into a really serious conversation with you in the transition period that you went through between getting drafted by the Cowboys, having Tom Landry, Jerry Jones taking over, Jimmy Johnson coming in from the U. Going through that, it seems like a hell in itself with not just you and other players. And then you go play for Bill Parcells. I mean, you talk about a transition. But from your perspective, because I think this documentary, I don't know if you've watched it.
Very good. It's very good.
I think it's fantastic. I've seen the first 4 episodes, but what was that like for you during that time? Like even, can you, in your own words, obviously, before, during, and then after?
There was a lot going on back then. I mean, if you remember, Tom Landry was the coach for so many years, and the last 5 years. Not that it coincided with my 5 years there. The team went steadily down to the point where they thought they had to make a move, and then Jerry Jones buys the team, and of course his very good friend Jimmy Johnson, who was very successful down at the University of Miami. Of course, they bring him in. It was a natural fit, and everything was. The guys on the team weren't as excited about it because nobody knew exactly what's going on and where it's going to put them, and so there was some trepidation, especially for a guy like myself who was a special teams player and a backup linebacker and a guy who was just making sure he had a job every week. But right away it came in. You could see that things were different. Things were different. It was no longer the stoic Tom Landry on the sideline. It was the very active and personable Jimmy Johnson out there, and things just changed automatically. But there was a lot of guys sitting there thinking, myself and a few others, like, how does this work for me? And then you saw very early on that he was trying to shape that team into what he had in Miami, which was some of the best athletes in the business and smaller, quicker linebackers. And I'll give Jimmy Johnson credit because he tried that, and then he must not have understood at that point that you've got the Hogs from Washington D.C. You've got that Philadelphia team that was as brutally physical as anyone else, and of course the Giants, who were very physical. You couldn't have 220-pound linebackers there or 225-pound linebackers. You had to have some meat in there to try to stand toe to toe. So he fixed it quick. He fixed it so quick. That was to me, that's what made Jimmy Johnson the great coach that he is. He saw something that he thought could work, didn't work, bailed out quick, and got himself some big linebackers. The guys could still run. That wasn't the issue. It was the time there was such. I remember the big thing back then was that the word was that Tom Landry found out about Jimmy Johnson on the news.
Yes, because they were having dinner. They were at his favorite restaurant. They had dinner together in a Mexican restaurant. That was Landry's favorite restaurant by coincidence.
Yes, yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah, and how do you that was the first thing that came up, and everybody, Dallas fan there was excited about Jimmy Johnson, but they right when that happened, it was like, how do you do that to an icon of the NFL? How does that happen? What you do is before anything even goes down, you go to Coach Landry and say, Coach, things are changing, and if you want to retire, that'd be great. That's what you do to a legend. You don't let it find out on the evening news that he's been replaced. That was just, and that was the first thing we saw that things were a little bit of flying by the seat of their pants when it came to taking over the team. And I mean, in a positive direction, not the first season, of course, but in a positive direction, and it was Jimmy Johnson that figured it out. It wasn't Jerry Jones. It was Jimmy Johnson.
Well, obviously, I know that. There's no doubt. What was it? I get so many. God, I could do 4 hours about this. First of all, what was it like being coached by Tom Landry?
It was fantastic. You run into. I've probably run into maybe half a dozen coaches over the years between college and the NFL. And certain guys stood out. Tom Coughlin, Bill Belichick, Bill Parcells, Tom Landry, Gene Stallings from that as different than the other coaches, maybe more knowledgeable or maybe more able to get their message across than others. But and Tom Landry, just even with the disregarding the legend, the hat, and the stoic attitude and everything, just a brilliant football guy. And it was kind of strange at the end to see. We were trying all sorts of stuff. We even tried that 46 Bear defense.
Yeah, 46 million.
So, the problem was we didn't have Mike Singletary,
Gary Fensick, and those guys,
all the those defensive linemen that they had. We didn't have that, but it was kind of a scramble. They made the playoffs almost every year for the 20 years before I got there, and again, no correlation that we only made it once in 5 years to my being drafted. But things were falling apart slowly, and things weren't as smooth as even before Jerry Jones came in.
At practice, though, even in training camp, was he because on the sideline, and besides growing up a Patriot fan, Dallas under Tom Landry was always, that team was always my second favorite teams. I love Staubach, I love Dorsett, I love Drew Pearson, Billy Joe Dupree, Tony Hill, go on and on. But was he more animated during camp and practice than we used to see on the sideline? Because barely, you guys could be just won the game 10-7 or 140-0, and it's just, you might get a little pop here, a pop there. Was he more animated during camp or during practice for you guys?
Well, I wouldn't say animated, but he was more approachable. He was more, every once in a while, he'd throw a sly joke in there here and there. But he was, when he was on the sidelines, that was business. And in a different type of business than practice. Practice, you're on the field, but practice, it's learning. He also relied a lot on his assistant coaches, and the communication between the assistant coaches and him and the players was good. He was never a guy. He was never a Parcells type guy. He wasn't. I tell you, he wasn't even a Belichick type guy in terms of the amount of personality and interaction he had with the. But you also understood that this guy knew football as well as anybody in the country or the world, and you understood that he was working as hard as you were. You got guys working their butt off to try to make the team and then working their butt off to try to win. You understood that a guy like Tom Landry and his staff were working hard. It's just the results weren't coming like they had in the previous 20 years.
So we found the transition comes over the TV, the Mexican restaurant story, which is documented in the America's Team on Netflix right now. When did you first meet Jerry Jones? How soon after the decision was made? What was your first meeting with Jerry Jones like, if you could remember? Or did you come and introduce yourself to the team, or did he ever do that?
I had a very, very brief just a hello, because I got traded rather quickly. Bill Parcells had been telling me, we played him twice a year, and Parcells had been telling me for 5 years that when they get a chance, he's going to trade for me. And you kind of take coaches with a grain of salt, but the minute he had the chance, he traded for me. So I was bundled out of there rather quick. Within a few weeks of when they took over, there was a mini camp going on, and I was told to go talk to I think it was Jimmy Johnson's secretary, because someone was on the phone for me. It was Bill Parcells. So it was all that very quick, which was great for me.
What was that conversation like? Hey, Steve.
Yeah. Yeah, he said, "Hey, I told you I was going to get you. I finally got you. It cost me a blocking dummy and a 6-pack of ginger ale. I got you. Don't worry about it." And he says, "Get up here as soon as you can." And I did. And they were they were new to the game. The whole Jerry Jones, not so much Jimmy Johnson. He wasn't doing the owning part of it. He was coaching, and he was you could tell right away he was a guy that was smart and in charge, and you knew that he understood he was dealing with grown men now, not college kids. He understood. Very few coaches come out of college with that kind of reputation and don't try to be that guy that they were in college. It's different. You got 30-year-old guys that have been in the league for 7, 8, 9 years. And you're going to come in and tell them this, that, or the other thing. He was great with guys. Jimmy Johnson was a guy that came in right away and understood, how to approach a number of different guys. He didn't just have one certain way to treat everybody. He understood, not as well as guys like Parcells or Belichick, but as good as I'd seen in terms of trying to get the most out of guys. And he was. He was right there in terms of communication, and you talk to the guys that all my buddies that played for him said the same thing. His communication was off the charts great. And
So you always got along with him. You always got along with Jimmy Johnson. I read something that said that maybe there's some disgruntledness between you and whatever. I mean, but you got along with him right off the bat.
Well, I understood. And I saw it as maybe an opportunity. I'd made the mistake of not coming in my rookie year, and I had bad practice habits at Boston College. I could wake up on Saturday and be an All-American, but in the NFL, I had to practice like I played on Saturdays in college. I couldn't, and I didn't know that because in college all I did was, show up at practice. I was in position. I was where I was supposed to be, but I wasn't going to hit my teammates like I wanted to hit someone from Penn State or something. So I did the same thing. And then Tom Landry actually called me into his office after about 20 days of this, and I thought he was going to cut me. And he said, after a few minutes, after a couple of seconds of silence, which felt like a few minutes, he looked up from his desk and says, "Son, what would you be doing if you weren't playing professional football?" And this is 3 weeks into training camp. And I'm like, I turn into a prepubescent kid. My voice starts cracking. And I'm like, I don't know, Coach, I guess I'd find a way to support my wife and 3 kids. Just, and he doesn't even blink. He's like, "Well, you're well on your way to doing that." And we just played the Raiders in a preseason game. And I had a pretty good game. I started the game, had a pretty good game. And I said, "But Coach, what about the game the other day? I thought I played pretty good in the game." He goes, "What game?" He goes, "The Raiders." He goes, "Oh yeah, you mean that practice we had? Yeah, we had 39 practices, and you show up for one." He said, my coaches wanted to get rid of you 2 weeks ago, and he literally implied that the only reason that they're trying to get there, I had $100,000 bonus for signing. And they said the implication was they're just trying to get their money's worth for 4 weeks. And he was right. He told me that I had to practice like I played he kept calling that preseason game a practice. And he said, "You practice like that and you'll be fine." And but Tom Landry was a special individual in terms of his knowledge, communications. I've been around better communicators, but he was also in a situation where it was a different league. There was no free agency for him. He didn't have to deal with any of that. He didn't have to deal with guys saying, "I want out," because you couldn't go out. There was nowhere to go. So, but he was an honor and a pleasure to play for. And I've won an incredible legacy I've had between Tom Landry and Bill Parcells and Bill Belichick and Tom Coughlin and just some ridiculously Hall of Fame level coaches. And each one of them stand out for some of the same reasons and some different reasons.
It's unbelievable. Steve DeOssie joining us here on the Pete Shepard Show and the Coastal Sports Digital Network. Great, obviously a great linebacker and one of the best long snappers that I think people refer to you in the history of football, which is saying a lot. Drafted by the Cowboys. He played for Dallas. You played for the Giants, is where you won your Super Bowl. We'll get to that in a minute. But do you think, because you were such a great long snapper, that kept you on the Cowboys a little longer?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, it most definitely did. I think they would have kept me around for a year anyway, in retrospect, but I didn't know it at the time. But they tricked me with the long snapping. The special teams coach asked me if I could have a blocking assignment after I snapped the ball, and I thought, well, shoot, that's the way. I'd never done it before, but
yeah,
I thought, oh boy, that's the way you do it in the NFL, I guess. And I said, yeah, sure, I can do it. 2 or 3 days later, I realized that we're doing something completely new that no center had ever had, a blocking assignment. We're going through hundreds of different permutations of rushes against the punter, and we had developed a system to so we could leave both of the gunners, the Matthew Slater guys, those kind of gunners outside, because if you can leave them out like that, most teams would try to overload one guy and he'd have to bring him in. But if I could block somebody, they could leave them the guys.
Oh, you did none of that at Boston College. You didn't long snap at
I snapped, but I didn't have a blocking assignment. I didn't have any. I had an official blocking. They had it, so it was an official blocking.
I got you.
Assignment, and it was helped out down the line. But the idea was to keep those gunners who were the real athletes, keep them free and not get them muddled up in the middle with all the guys down here where they might have to block somebody.
Were most of the long snappers doing it back then, or were you kind of unique? And when you got to the Giants, did Parcells wants you to do the same thing there?
I sat with the special teams coach Mike Sweatman and Bill Belichick, and we drew up must have been 60, 70 different rushes, and I had to on the board, and I had to explain to him how we did everything and how this was blocked and how that was blocked. Then we tested it for hundreds of times on the field usually after practice. And they were just, and you could tell they were getting frustrated because they couldn't find something that worked against it. I was like, well, everybody's tried for 5 years before that. And as long as you got good guys next to you, got guys that can play next to you, then you were fine. If not, you were screwed. So
how did you get into, before we get to some of the other stuff, but how'd you get into long snapping? I mean, is that something you wanted to do, wanted to learn? I mean, how does that happen? You did it in high school too at Don Bosco?
I did it. That's how it started because, we had a high school. My high school was inner city Boston, right next to the combat zone. Yeah. We didn't have a home field. We played all away games and barely had a practice field. And, we might have had 27, 26 guys on the team and nobody else could long snap. So I was like, okay, well, then I guess I'll do it. And that's how I started. It wasn't out of like, hey, let me check this out. What's going on with this? No, it was like coach said, do it. Because I could throw the ball. I could always throw a ball. Like, well, it's just bending over and throwing. And it's not, but I felt that way. And that's how I learned. I just learned by literally hundreds, if not thousands of reps and reps and reps. Even when I was doing it in the NFL, I would take anywhere from after practice every day. I was already as good as it got in terms of snapping in the league, but every single day we're on the practice field, I'd take at least 50 practice snaps for punts and another 25 for field goals, just every single day, and just to keep the habit in there. And then, of course, my first long snap in college goes right over the punter's head by about 40 yards.
Oh, who were you playing?
Stanford, I think it was Stanford, freshman year.
They were good back then, right? They were ranked like 10th or 11th.
Yeah, that was Elway there.
Yeah. Did you guys win that game? You beat them.
I think we might have beat them that game. I'm not sure. I remember, but that was my first game starting as a linebacker, and it was my first snap for the in college it soared right over John Cooper's head, who was our punter.
Shit! Did you get to sack Elway at all in that game?
I got a piece of him one point. I don't remember it was a blur. I was so scared. I was 17 years old. I was frightened out of my pants. I was like, I didn't, it was, I should go back and watch the game because I played well enough to, keep playing the next week. So, but it was John Elway. Even then he was a legend.
Yeah.
No
question. Before we get into a couple of things, I won't keep you too much longer because I just find this fascinating. We haven't talked like this in a long time. It's been great. And documentary just added to my excitement to have you on the show. So everything you've seen so far with this documentary on Netflix, I think it's fantastic. But having been there and so far, you give it 2 thumbs up, right? 100%.
100%. It's and it's good. When things are, you got first off this huge span of time that you can look back on and then see how things were in the beginning, see how things evolved during the Super Bowl years, see how things completely devolved into a point where they've had probably the most talented team that couldn't win a Super Bowl or barely win a playoff game. It's almost like a saga or a tale of ownership and friendship and the great captain that led his teams to Super Bowls. All 3 of those don't tell me about the third one. The third one is still Jimmy Johnson's.
Absolutely, but not Barry Switzer. Yeah,
no, not Barry Switzer. So it's almost a giant melodrama of all these things, of coming together, the friendships and the successes, and then the defeats and the downturn of all that. It's really sort of a drama, really. If you look at everything that went on, you thought at one point with Jimmy Johnson and Aikman and the teams that they had, that team was going to win a lot more, and then you realized that eventually not having Jimmy Johnson there caught up to them. And it's just a great story. The entire thing is a great story because it's something out of a medieval novel of royalty and conquest.
So, and moving on here the next few minutes and just going on to what was it culture? I see, to me, there are some buzzwords that I cannot stand that I think are overused. One is system. The other one is culture. But was there a culture shock when you left that environment in Dallas and then go play for Bill Parcells from 89 to 93, winning a Super Bowl in 91? But was that an easy transition period for you to make that jump to the Giants? And, what was that like?
It was easy for me because it was a fresh start, a new chance. And Harry Carson, the all-world inside linebacker, just retired. And Gary Reasons was supposed to take his place. We came into the league the same year, and Parcells told me I had a legit job. He said that you're gonna have to work your butt off to win the starting job, but he gave me an honest chance, and I ended up winning the starting job. And that's all you want from a coach. You just want a coach that's not going to lie to you. Tell me whatever you want, but also tell me the bad things. Tell me good, bad, everything. Just don't lie to me. And Parcells never lied to me. Belichick never lied to me. That was the difference there. And then the difference, one of the first practices I was in, it was, like I said, players yelling at coaches, coaches yelling at players, coaches yelling at coaches. But you could tell it was one giant collaborative effort to win games. And that's all it was. It was, I learned very quickly that I got sat down by my fellow linebackers, like, there's no two sides here, because there was a little bit of a racially divided locker room in Dallas, and it was a kind of an uncomfortable scenario. And it wasn't everyone, but there were some factions there. And then there was nothing like that in the Giants locker room, nothing. And these guys, you have friends all around the league.
Yeah,
remember Pepper Johnson and Carl Banks.
Yes,
yeah, exactly right. So it's sitting me down. He's like, "Listen, there's no two sides here on the Giants, not like it was down in Dallas." And I'm trying to avoid this. Like, "Oh yeah," he goes, "No, you got to understand this." And Pepper steps in. He says, "Yeah, there might be two sides. You're either working your ass off to win the game, or you're not. If you're not going to be around for long. We're here to win a championship, and that's all that matters. And I don't care who you are, what you do. If you can help us win, you're part of this team." And it was a culture that was something that I remembered, from being in college and a few times feeling it in Dallas. But the overall goal in New York was to win a championship, and nothing else mattered. And they worked and worked and worked, but it felt less like work because you could see a goal and you could see the people around you were hyper focused on winning a championship. And that's easy when you're doing that. That's easy football. Not easy to accomplish.
No, it's never easy.
Easy to want to be a part of.
It's supposed to be hard, right? Otherwise, as they say, everybody would do it. Last couple of questions. So can we reminisce a little bit about your Super Bowl championship in technically 91, but it was the 90s season. And I will never forget, I think it's one of the greatest games I've ever seen in my life, was you beating you guys in the San Francisco, the NFC title game. Was Freddie on that team? Our buddy Freddie Speros, was he on that team then? Or I forget who was able to play.
I think he had gotten traded to, or he signed free agency, that Plan B free agency they used to have.
Yeah,
because he went there because Freddie had the best career of any nose tackle, and but their team, he left there before they started going to the Super Bowls.
Yes,
but he went to San Francisco because I remember that year San Francisco had won 2 Super Bowls, and they wanted to beat us to get to their third Super Bowl. And I think Freddie was hurt in the playoffs, but he was part of that team. And but that San Francisco team was they get overshadowed by how good Jerry Rice and Joe Montana and Roger, they get overshadowed. That defense was physical and tough, and a lot harder than
Ronnie Lott and those guys. I mean, those are unbelievable teams.
It was great, and we had to go there. There was no bye week that year. We had to go to San Francisco because they beat us during the regular season. There was no bye week because I think that was the first 9/11, not 9/11. That was first Gulf War is what it was, and there were some security issues. So somehow the bye week got scrapped. So we had to fly right from San Fran to Tampa, and it was the best cross country flight ever, and we immediately somehow, even though we're celebrating what we just did, about halfway through the flight, all of a sudden the talk started going to about, okay, what about Buffalo? They beat us during the regular season,
Yeah.
and guys were within 4 hours of having won the NFC Championship game. These guys are on the plane talking about how are we gonna beat the Bills, and that's just the culture that they had of the Giants, and it was a completely different culture than I'd seen in Dallas.
Well, I remember the regular season game, and it was towards the end of the season, if I'm not mistaken, and they beat you guys pretty good. But I still took you guys plus the 7. I can remember that back in the day. But getting back to the NFC Championship game, which was absolutely phenomenal. I mean, that was the fake punt, right? You guys get the first, pulled it off. I mean, that came out.
That was an audible.
Did you guys practice that during the week?
Yes, that was an audible. It could only be called first by Parcells, and it was alert Arapaho. We'd come out every punt and we'd say Navajo, Cherokee, whatever, alert Cherokee, alert this, alert Navajo, whatever. But if you heard alert Arapaho, that meant it was on.
Okay.
And you could only do it if you saw certain things. And between Barry Reasons, who was the up back, and myself, either one of us could call it. And we're about to go out in the field to punt, and Parcells looks at me and goes, "Alert Arapaho." I'm like, "Oh boy!" But now you're trying to be cool. You're trying to, you don't want to give it away. You're walking out, you're like, "Yeah, whatever. Nothing to see here. Pay no attention." And I think San Fran came out one man short, and then got him on field at time. But they were in the exact formation that we needed. That gave us the go ahead to do the Arapaho, the fake punt, and then you could see. I think there might have been one man short in the interior, and you could just see the hole widen up for Gary Reasons to go and get that first down. That was an amazing play, and as gutsy a call as you can make.
Oh, it was. I think it's also one of the best games in the NFL I've ever seen. As at least one of the best playoff games. At 15-13, you guys win.
Yep.
And I thought that game was actually, the Super Bowl was exciting, but the 20-19 when you guys had over the Bills, and everybody knows how that game ended. But nevertheless, you made more plays than they did. I thought the NFC Championship game was actually, from a fan perspective, and I was in radio, but not near. I wasn't in Boston yet. But I could watch that NFC Championship game over and over, because the regular season game, that was tough. Was that like 10-7 or something like that?
Yeah, it was a very tight game there too.
Yeah, really low scoring game that you had opportunities to win. They just played a tiny bit better.
Yeah, and they, but that was, again, people forgot people never really understood how physical San Fran was, both offensively and defensively. Their offensive line was physical. Their defense was physical. Those were the reason. It wasn't 10-7 because the offenses couldn't get things going on. It was the defenses that were just beating the heck out of the other offenses. So that was an amazing couple of games against two teams that were at the top of their game, and just you look back on them, and it was just an amazing time.
Before I let you go, two more quick things. One, we have to talk about your son. So Zach DeOssie also has more Super Bowl rings than you, which I know he brags about all the time. He was also a great long snapper, special teamer, and did he play a linebacker too? I think for the Giants occasionally as well. I still blame him, and I've said this to you affectionately, in 2007, because he's the one who tackled Lawrence Maroney after the Giants had taken the lead in the perfect season in 2007. Your son cost the Patriots the Super Bowl because he tackled Lawrence Maroney out of bounds at the end, would not allow him to go by, and set up a Hail Mary. It's very frustrating. But
you would think a former ball boy for the New England Patriots for a couple of years might be like, yeah, okay, let it go. And remember, I snuck down to the field. Because it was late in the game, but at the end of the fourth quarter, there were a bunch of media guys were at the beginning, halfway through the fourth quarter, a bunch of media guys were lining up to go out in the field. They weren't going to let you out until after the thing. But I saw a bunch of NFL guys walking through, and I just started walking with them. I'm on the field behind the Giants bench, and my son's on the bench. I'm like, psst, hey, psst. He looks at me. He's like, what the? Yeah, I was like, I think you're gonna win. He's like, get the fuck. It's like, oh, it was just too funny. But it
Well,
was,
also, I mean, the Super Bowl was, I mean, it was unbelievable.
it
And
really was.
Freddie bringing in 300 chicken wings from Hooters for the postgame show that he and I had to do. Andy throwing a chair across the convention center that nobody was in and busted a TV. That was funny. Being on at 3 o'clock in the morning with a bunch of drunks. But I will never forget, we were worried about your safety in the NFC Championship game that year on the sideline again because you were in Green Bay and it was like negative 70.
Oh my God. It was unbelievable. And it was, and that you talk about a great place to watch a football game. That everything between the history, the layout of the stadium, the crowd, everything. Just one of my favorite places to play or to go watch a game, and to see them pull that off. And I you know what? I grew up in Boston. I'm okay with the cold. It's no big deal. It's all set. These people in Green Bay made me look like I grew up in Costa Rica or something, because they're out there with t-shirts, and then I'm bundled up and then still trying to steal some body heat from my buddy who was right next to me.
I don't know how Tom Coughlin made it through. His face, I don't know how much Vaseline he had on his. I don't know how he did it.
You look at him and you're like, they're gonna have to cut his nose off after this. That nose is officially frozen and dead. That was one of the coldest games I've been at. But those Green Bay people, they're hardy Midwesterners. That they didn't think twice about it. It was one of the most. It was an amazing game too.
Sure as hell was.
Yep. Yeah.
The last thing. So what's I have guests on from New England every week, a couple times a week, and I've seen the Patriots play and everything else. I'm very high on them this year, as most people are. I think they can get to 8 wins if things go well, maybe 9, and be a possible postseason contender. Yes, there's things that need to be tweaked, and I get all that. But what I want Steve DeOssie's assessment of what you have seen so far. What do you like? What don't you like?
Well, I like, first off, that Mike Vrabel is an experienced coach who's been in any number of situations. I loved John Mayo as a ball player and as a man, good people, but he had very limited experience as a head coach, and there's something to be said for that in the NFL. And I think Mayo was just one of a very sharp, very smart football player, and probably is going to be a very, very smart coach. But it takes a lot more than just showing up on the field and being there. And I think Vrabel puts him in good hands. I also look at the schedule. The schedule doesn't seem as horrific as it could be. Yeah, you're still probably going to lose 2 games to Buffalo, but if you find a way to split with Miami and then maybe win 2 from the Jets, I mean, now you're talking about something where you can approach the 8 or 9 wins. They're going to have a game that they should win that they lose. They're probably going to have a game that they should lose that they're going to win. But I think they're in the right direction. But I can't see playoffs yet. I can't see. I can see 8 wins. But 8 wins would still be very good. 9 would be better than expected. Yep.
That's awesome. Angel, do you have any? Angel Martinez, our great executive producer and also host of a couple of other shows as well, but he grew up an Eagles fan. He's in Tampa now, but he grew up an Eagles fan. Do you have anything for Steve, Angel, before we let him go?
I love the Eagles. My favorite.
I'm pretty sure you can see
the BC Eagles.
Well, I was trying to sneak that one in. Yeah.
No, thanks for taking the time to come on the show today, Stephen. I love to hear the stories from the players themselves, because we don't get to hear, again, as like fans, broadcasters, minus Pete, who spent a lot of time with New England and the Patriots. We don't get the opportunity to hear like the stuff behind the scene. Like you had just shared that you guys winning, the NFC Championship, flying out to Tampa. Yeah. And then 4 hours later, you talk about the mindset of where the Bills came from. Because who saw also with the Bills, you go to 4 straight Super Bowls and lose 4 straight Super Bowls. So, I mean, that had to also be gut-wrenching too for the Bills.
Yeah. And the first one was their only chance to win. After that, they started getting blown out. And Dallas asserted themselves on it. And it was all to NFC East teams too, wasn't it? Washington.
Yeah.
And and it was because those teams were all more physical. Not that Buffalo couldn't be physical, they had all the talent in the world to be physical. They were just they were hyped up on the flash and the K-gun offense and blah, blah, blah. Good for you. We're going to just shove it down your throat and see how you like it.
Well, I know we have my buddy who's out in Jersey, Rich Quinones, and he's been a long time Giants fan. Was on the radio for many, many years as well. And he was upset, as many Giants friends were as well, because of last year and the whole Saquon Barkley deal. And he comes to Philly, thank us for the Super Bowl championship. But he comes to Philly, and it makes you wonder, though, was the New York brass really, really thinking that through? Like, because they believed in Danny Dimes, and, oh, no, Daniel Jones is going to be the future. And they put Saquon on the back burner. And I'm pretty sure to eat that crow was probably the worst thing for him to do.
Oh, I absolutely agree. And you can make all the excuses you want. Running backs have become less important over the years in terms of your running back has to be a guy who can also catch the ball, not just be a good runner. But Saquon's got all of that. Maybe coming off the injuries, they thought he was, there was a shelf life for running backs. I have no idea, but it was a terrible decision. And also that a guy like Saquon, who's an incredible competitor, you knew he wanted, and he would probably never say it. I don't know if he ever said it after the games or anything, but you knew he wanted to stick it back to them and show them what the mistake they made. But unfortunately, with the Giants, there's been a number of those mistakes made over the last few years in terms of drafting and in terms of letting guys go and in terms of some of the free agents they signed. They've got a long ways to go to catch up to what Philly's at right now.
Absolute last thing, and then I want you to plug whatever you're still doing the steakhouse and cigars and all that stuff, right? You're still
as much as I can.
As much as you can. We'll get Bill Parcells, Bill Belichick with North Carolina this year. Just a number. How many wins do you think he can get?
It's not a tough conference, not the SEC or the Big Ten, whatever. So he'll get that team going, get 7 wins, and as a start, I mean that's feasible to ask for. I haven't talked to him about that. I've talked to him some other times about it, but other things. But I just think I wonder. Everybody asks me why did he go to UNC? I'm like, the only thing I can think of is you've already conquered the NFL. You were the best coach in the history of the NFL. So now you want a new challenge. Is that something that would get you there? Or I don't know. It's not like he needs the money. That's not the case.
No. Do you think he wasn't offered enough opportunity, given the opportunity?
Yeah. And maybe he's biding his time till someone realizes that he can still coach. Who knows? But he's still the smartest football guy I've ever been around. I've been around some great ones. And I wouldn't doubt that he'll have some success there. He's just that kind of guy that promotes the right way to play football.
All right, let's promote Steve DeOssie. Give me all the businesses you're involved in and how everything is doing. I know we've been to a couple of them, or at least one of them, but go ahead, plug away.
You know what business I'm in? I'm the business of figuring out how to live your life, living down in Florida, kicking back, looking good, doing great. I'm mostly retired. I still have the steakhouse that's been open for 18 years at the Valley's Twin River Casino, and I got that, and I've got the cigar lounge there that I opened about 15 years ago. And other than that, I'm mostly retired. I've got 3 grandsons. Matter of fact, tonight I'm
already.
When I'm done here, I'm driving to New York because the Giants have a preseason game.
Yeah, with the Patriots.
Time, my 11-year-old grandson is playing on the field with his Pop Warner team or whatever. So I'm going to be there with my son and his son and my grandson and the 3 of us. And I'm driving. I'm literally going to drive 4.5 hours just for a picture. I want one picture. I could watch. My son could tape the thing and I could watch it, but nope. I want that one picture of me, my son, and my grandson with my.
Oh my God! And your grandson could end up playing in the NFL someday. I mean, that is unbelievable. 3 generations of DeOssies.
Yeah.
Steve, Zach, what's your grandson's first? What's his first name?
Lucas.
Oh,
obviously, you understood quicker than anybody that the athletic gene in the DeOssie family is is well documented. All right?
No doubt about it.
Yeah, my brother was the best dodgeball player in 6th grade for all of Boston. Just trust me on that one.
Well, you were all state in 3 sports in high school, so let's get that out there. Too.
I was all state in 1.5, two. The other one I was a hacker. The other one I was a hatchet man.
You were a great catcher in high school.
I was an all American hatchet guy underneath the rim.
And Zach's twice your size, not girth. I mean, just what a huge kid. I remember, how proud we were at watching him at Brown and all that stuff. But that is fantastic.
Yeah, where's that come from? 6'5" at the combine, 6'5", 258 pounds, and runs a 4.58 40. Right? Right then and there, you know what I did? Yeah. I wanted a DNA test for all that child support that I paid.
I was going to make a milkman joke, but I'm the same thing. My dad was only 5'8". My dad was 5'8". My mom was barely 5 feet. So I ended up 6'2.5". Milkman jokes, yeah.
Tall, lean, handsome, smart, athletic. I'm like, wait a minute.
Steve, thanks so much. I hope we can talk again during the regular season. I'd love to have you on if you're interested. It'll be great.
I'm coming down I'm coming down probably in December for a month or two. We're doing our second year of trying to figure out where we want to buy our snowbird getaway. We're definitely on the Gulf Coast, and we're looking up down.
Get to Southwest Florida, whether it's the Fort Myers or Bonita or Estero or Cape Coral.
Fort Myers has been our focus. She's got my girlfriend of 20 years. She's got some wonderful friends that live there, and her brother's just up.
Great. I wonder if I know them, because I'm right down the street from JetBlue, about 2 miles away. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah. They're closer. I don't know, near Fort Myers Country Club. Right around there.
Okay, yeah, okay, I get it. Yep,
somewhere like that. But I love the area too, and I'd like to say it's my decision, but when she decides where we're going to go, we'll be down there joining at least for a few months a year. So,
well, this was awesome. I so appreciate you coming on, and I could talk about that documentary with you for 4 hours. It's much better than talking about Drake May's a couple overthrows.
Yeah.
That talk show hosted, that minutia crap. I don't miss it all. But thank you so much, and Beth, have a blast. And if Zach could send, I have his number too. Send me a picture. I want to see that you and Zach and Lucas at Giants or MetLife, whatever they call it now.
Yeah, Giant Stadium.
Wow. I mean, that's something. Thank you so much.
He'll be in full uniform too, so that's good.
Oh, great. Well, safe travels, my friend. And
thank you. Appreciate it. Congratulations on all your success down there.
Thanks, man.
Well deserved, well earned, and not surprising. So
thank you so much. You're the best, and I miss you and Freddie. I still miss our Sundays together. They were.
Come on up and have a steak, buddy. I know you get here once in a while.
You know what? I'm going to be October. I'm coming off my high school reunion at Bishop Hendricken.
Yep.
October 16th. I'm landing on Thursday, and I'm staying till Sunday. So after Friday night, I have to go to an alumni thing. But I'm free Thursday. That Thursday, I come up, and also Saturday.
Done. I'll order an extra large steak to be on hand for you.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. I'll text you before that.
Just send me the smells.
Yeah.
All right, Steve. Safe travels to New Jersey. Take care.
Thanks, Steve. Thank you very much.
You're the best. Steve DeOssie. There he is. A big round of applause. Former NFL Super Bowl champion, linebacker, long snapper for the Cowboys, the Giants, the Patriots, and that other team, the J.E. I don't want to say the name, the rest of it. But anyway. Man, that was great stuff. Great stuff. Angel, what's coming up on the network today? I mean, we could just replay that for the rest of the day, as far as I'm concerned, but whatever. What other good shows we have coming up?
Today is Thursday, so I think Duncan Dad is back from his excursion around the world. He's like Dora the Explorer. Obviously not a female, but he's like, he explores all over the place. But Duncan Dad should be around 1 o'clock. And then, as usual, you guys can always go back on the website and check out the replays, the video and the audio as well. So you guys go back and do that. And then tomorrow, hopefully we'll have a nice, big, huge announcement in the morning.
Fantastic. Thanks to Trevor Harris and WQAM. Thanks to Bill Speros from the Boston Herald, columnist and bookies.com, senior betting analyst. And big thanks to Steve DeOssie, former Super Bowl champion. With the New York Giants, and also, again, played for Dallas and Patriots and that other team in New York that I won't mention. I am Pete, back tomorrow at 7 a.m. I can tell you tomorrow Who's on tomorrow? Jay Flanley, more than likely at 8:05. And then 8:30 from Barstool Sports, Jerry Thornton will join me tomorrow, first time in a while. So we're looking forward to that. That's our show tomorrow. We'll have a recap of everything happening in the MLB and a couple of preseason games tonight in the NFL. We'll have all the highlights for you as well. Thanks to Angel Martinez for producing this whole thing as usual. This was great, fantastic. Hope you enjoyed it. I did. I am Pete. I'm back tomorrow at 7 a.m. right here on the Coastal Sports Digital Network. Turn me loose, baby. See you.